I could go on and on about how good the SEC is in track and field, so I will. Talent to match the temperature. And right now in Baton Rouge, it's like 1,000,000,000 degrees. We have 7 of the top 10 women's teams here, 5 of the top 6 in the men's, and that fight could come down to Tennessee and Arkansas. The Hogs, dominant for 30 years since joining the SEC, against Tennessee, who was dominant for the 3 decades prior to that in this league. Throw in there, besides those 2 clubs, Florida, awesome. LSU, the home team, great. Georgia, just so many great teams to talk about. Individuals, just the same, which is luckily why we have 4 hours to telecast this event and talk about these athletes. That's the job of Larry Overton, Dan O'Brien, and Dwight Stones, because Dwight, to pick 3 or 4 kids overall in this event is wrong, because there's 3 or 4 literally in each individual event that we could focus on, and it's going to be great to listen to you guys do that.
Well, no question, John. We always go on and on about what a great conference this is, so we won't belabor the subject. First time that the conference meet has been back here in the Pelican State. I was here in 2012 for the very first time and saw the unique setup left behind by Coach Pat Henry when he was the coach here at LSU, and that's what I was impressed by, aside from the heat. But I know, Dan O'Brien, you were looking forward to coming to this facility. You'd never been here before.
Well, when I first fell in love with track and field shortly after high school, getting into college, I saw the NCAA championships here, and I thought, oh, this is the mecca of track and field. Even though I grew up in the state of Oregon, I figured they did it better out south than anywhere else. But I just remember seeing the great teams in the late 80s that just featured athletes like Esther Jones and Don Sewell, and I thought, I need to visit that place sometime. It's cool to be back here in Bernie Moore Track, and we're going to get a chance to see the LSU Tigers hold home serve in some of their best events, the sprints and the hurdles.
And it's always about Bernie Moore Track during the spring, but boy, Lara Overton, during the fall, nobody even knows this place exists.
Yeah, those football Saturdays in the fall, this track sits in the shadows of 100,000 strong at Tiger Stadium, which is just steps away. But on this Saturday in May, all the attention, not just here on campus in Baton Rouge, but across the country, is right here on the SEC as the best track and field athletes in the country battle it out for conference titles and kick off championship season in collegiate track and field.
And obviously a lot of finals today. They're all finals. We've already had 9 of 21 events, and on the men's side you can see Arkansas appears to be running away with it, more than doubling the score on Georgia, and then it's very tight from 2nd through 8th. Tennessee you don't really even see there, but they have the more finalists than any other team, and watch how they will come from nowhere and challenge for the top spots. Awfully tough to beat Arkansas because they just throw so many people at you. As we get ready for the very first event of the afternoon, the men's 4x100 meter relay. There will be 2 sections of this event. In the first section, just 2 teams, as we've had 2 scratches. And in lane 6, we will start with a team from Alabama.
Well, Auburn was scheduled to run. They were supposed to be in the lane inside of Alabama. We'll see some of their stars in the 100 meters, but Alabama, they'll go with Jekko Van Retta, Antonio Crisco, Clayton Elder, and Quincy Scott. And somebody whose name we don't see there is Tarsus Oregot. He's their best sprinter at Alabama, but they're saving him for the 100-meter open and the 200. And we'll also see him on the 4x4 relay. But what's interesting and unique about this, Dwight, is you can win from either section.
It's a timed final. So if these guys were to go out of their minds and improve their season best by a lot, and there were drop batons and disqualifications in the second section, either one of these or both of these teams could score. Of course, scoring goes down to 8th place. So Alabama in 6, Missouri in 7. The other thing I love about this track is that they started with those colored passing zones. It was real easy to see if the pass was made inside the zone. There is Alabama making a move on that second leg and an excellent pass. It is all Alabama so far. They came in with a 39.99 season best, 40-40 for Missouri, and it's going to be Alabama putting up the time to beat for the section teams to shoot for. And the flash time 39.90, which would be a season best for the Crimson Tide sprint quartet.
Well, real crisp passes. First exchange, second exchange, especially good Nice momentum down the home straight there for Quincy Scott as well. Love to come here, even when you're not in the fast section, but to run just under your season best.
39.89 for Alabama in that trip around this 400-meter oval. Missouri second, 41.07. So as we get ready for second section, let's step aside for a moment and catch up on a little men's hammer.
All right, track and field. Got to love the field events in the men's hammer. Things were happening just a couple of days ago. There you see the meet record, Denzel Comanentia from Georgia. We're all familiar with this gentleman. Bobby Colantonio from Alabama, the senior, the defending champion. He was fourth at the NCAA's outdoors. And he was the indoor champion in the conference in the weight throw. And here he is in the 5th round. Love that yell by the big fella. And he would snap one out there, 229 feet, 6 inches. He wouldn't come away with a victory today, but he would finish in 3rd position. This is the senior from Georgia, Alencar Pereira, out of Brazil. Second at the Texas Relays this year, second at the SEC Outdoors last year. Brazilian National Championships last year. He was 3rd place, and in the 5th round, he'd go 229.10, and he'd find himself in 2nd position. But there was no beating this young man from Ole Miss today, Tariq Robinson O'Hagan. In the 5th round, he would launch one. He was your runner-up indoors in the weight throw at the conference meet. 3rd at the NCAA Championships indoors. Also a World Junior qualifier, but he'd go 233.09 and take the victory. And believe it or not, as much success as Ole Miss has had in the throwing events. There you see Coach John Smith. This is the first SEC title for Ole Miss in the event. There you see the top 8. Good points for Auburn. My goodness, 4th, 5th, and 6th.
All right, getting ready now for the second section of this 4x100 meter relay event, opening event on the final day. And look at the dominance of the host team. 5 straight SEC titles between 2016 and 2021, and the 3 fastest times on the collegiate list this season. They've been relaying a lot, should have their passes down, but anything can happen in the relay events, especially the 4x1.
Well, the number 1 team in the country, there's a lot of pressure being the number 1 team in the country, and also being at home here is there. They're going to get some challenge. I think it'll come from the outside there, University of Florida. And that's Ryan Willey, the 400-meter runner. He'll lead off. But last year, LSU did not get the baton around at the SEC Outdoor Championship, snapping a 5-year-in-a-row streak of them winning the conference championship, and then they didn't get the baton around at the regional meet either, so we didn't see them at the NCAA championships, and that's not something you see very often for LSU. LSU did get 3 of their runners into the finals of the 100 meters as well, so we'll see Godson Ogunbrume, DeMarcus Fleming, and Dorian Kamel all in the open 100 as well. And there's DeMarcus Fleming, and he talked about this meet being a redemption meet, especially here in the relays. And they talked about defending home turf, doing it in front of the home crowd.
Arkansas is a scratch out of this race, so they move South Carolina from lane 1 to lane 2, and Kentucky in 3, followed by Tennessee in 4, or A&M in 4, Tennessee in 5. We've already seen LSU. They're in 6. Then Florida, Georgia, and Mississippi State. Florida are the defending champions. And clean start. And already out is LSU very quickly with Ryan Willey on the leadoff for the Tigers. Excellent pass.
And that's Dorian Kamel for LSU down the home straight. Usually put your fastest guy on that second leg. Dorian Kamel, that's to DeMarcus Fleming. We'll see him run the turn. We'll see him both in the 100 meters and the 200-meter final today.
LSU and Florida right there together. Godson Ogunbrume. And LSU is going to snatch the victory right there. Florida just could not catch them. Robert Gregory, the anchor for the Gators. collegiate record for the LSU Tigers at home. It can't get better than that. 37.90. That's a big alteration. 0.07 of a second on this relay.
Well, this is Brandon Hicklin to Dorian Kamel. Good pass there for the LSU Tigers on the outside as well. There she Ja'Cory Patterson going for the Florida Gators. Dorian Kamel doesn't make up a lot of room there, but is here where DeMarcus Fleming just used that great turnover, and not the best pass ever on this fourth, but nice and quick. DeMarcus Fleming got Godson Ogunbrume the stick nice and early, and nobody closes like a healthy Godson Ogunbrume.
So close was Florida that they were also under the old collegiate record. 37.90 to 37.93. That is some hot relay running for both LSU and Florida. Imagine what's going to happen at regionals, and then in 4 weeks, the NCAA championships in Austin. Okay, we started off hot, and we will continue. Can absolutely score and even win from Section 1. And Tennessee out quickly with Jacia Sears. She's going to have a busy afternoon here in Baton Rouge.
Well, and a nice quick pass there from Jacia Sears to Jonah Ross.
Mississippi State trying to make a move on Tennessee. But Tennessee with a big lead so far. Charisma Taylor on third leg to Nicole Sreenan. Now Tennessee just trying to post as fast a time as possible for the Section 1 teams to shoot for. The ball's come across in 43-48 unofficially. And it is official. So that establishes the time to beat for the teams in Section 2.
Well, solid run there for the Volunteers. Like you said, Jacia Sears is going to be busy today. She's in the open 4x1, 100 meters, 200 meters. Not sure we'll see her in the 4x4, but then Charisma Taylor as well. We're going to see her. Saw her in the long jump yesterday and the hurdle. So today we'll see her in the triple jump and perhaps both relays. So really busy personnel for that Tennessee squad.
While we get ready for that second section race, let's catch up on the women's hammer from earlier in the week.
All right, in the women's hammer, there you see the meet records. Cameron Rogers of Cal just absolutely decimated that record a couple of times. There you see John Smith, one of the architects of bringing champion women hammer throwers here to the United States. 4 Olympian, 13 NCAA champions, 11 SEC champions, but he was in another conference before he came to the SEC and had a lot of champions from there as well. This is Shea Taiwu, the senior from Mississippi. She was second indoors this season. Second at the NCAA indoor weight throw as well. But on her third attempt, she'd go 220 and 3 inches. She'd be a third place finisher. And then her teammate, who we're looking at next here, this is Jelani Davis, the senior. She's your winner of the indoor weight throw. She was 6th at the NCAA Outdoor Championships last year. She'd go 220 feet 8. So close competition between second and third, but your winner today would come from Auburn, Maddie Malone, the senior. She's your SEC Outdoor defending champion, looking to repeat, and she would do it. Her best throw would come on her last and final throw here in the 6th round. Blam, she'd go 225 feet, 4 inches. Look at that stability. And as soon as it left her hand, she knew it. She's shaking all the hands of the officials out there. Congratulations to Maddie Malone from Auburn on defending her SEC title. And look at the points by Ole Miss. 2nd, 3rd, and 5th.
All right, ready now for the second section of the 4x100 meter relays, and we're looking at the team from Kentucky that'll start out in lane 6.
Well, Masai Russell, part of this team. We talk about busy personnel. We'll see Anthea Charlton as well. We'll see her in the 100 meters. She long jumped 22 feet yesterday. There's Masai Russell for Kentucky. She looks like she's going to run the third, and then Karima Davis will bring it home for the Wildcats. And certainly we know just the history of Kentucky, and they're going to get challenged by a team on the outside. 2 freshmen on this squad from Georgia, actually 3 freshmen. Aaliyah Butler, the freshman, will go anchor, so they'll go freshman, senior. Kayla Jackson, Autumn Wilson in the second leg, and then Brandy Presley in the third leg, and Aaliyah Butler is a late substitution there for Kanana Davis, who couldn't go today. So should be interesting and fast, just like the men's race.
Kentucky comes in with the best season time at 42.81, with Georgia close behind at 42.94. And they make them stand up. South Carolina was a scratch. They were originally in lane 2, so Alabama moved into lane 2. So 8 teams in this second section.
Well, while we focused on Kentucky and Georgia, don't forget LSU in the lane outside of them. LSU will be in lane 8. So successful in this 4x1 relay. They'll go Aaliyah Armstrong, Faber O'Feely, Brianna Liston, and Thelma Davies, and that is a really powerful squad.
6-time defending champions. And they just watched their male counterparts set the collegiate record in winning the men's 4x100. There's LSU out in lane number 8 with Aaliyah Armstrong. We'll see her in the 100-meter hurdle shortly. So they bring them back to their blocks. We managed to dodge the weather for the most part, except for day 1. We had about a 45-minute delay because of lightning in the area, but really nothing ever touching Bernie Moore Stadium. But it is hot. A long hold with that gun. Expect the action in 5, 6, 7, 8. Florida, Kentucky, Georgia, and LSU.
Well, Leah Armstrong for LSU of the great first leg. She'll pass to Faber O'Feely. That's Autumn Wilson, third from the left there for Georgia in the black top and the red bottoms.
Let's see if we can see who passes first. Took a long time to get the stick to LSU from O'Feely to Liston. It is tight. Coming into the final exchange. Kentucky makes a great exchange, but LSU is there too, and here comes Georgia. It is LSU and Kentucky. LSU at home trying to hold off Kentucky and match the men, and LSU, I think they take it. It is so close. 42-93 unofficially. And that would be a season best for the Tigers. But very close at the tape. 42-92 for LSU. They do win it. They just barely hold off Kentucky at the tape by 100th of a second. So LSU, 7-time champion in the women's 4x100 meter relay. And that's the number 3 time in the NCAAs this year.
Well, there you get a chance to see one of the fastest teams in the country, and Thea Charlton taking it down the backstraight for Kentucky. And LSU was just outside of them. Aaliyah Armstrong ran such a great first leg for LSU, and this is Messiah Russell just getting a warm-up because we're going to see her in the 100-meter hurdles. But really good exchanges for both the University of Kentucky and LSU. Georgia just had a little bit of a bobble that set them back, but it was Thelma Davies on the outside that brought it home for the Lady Tigers. And what a start for the home team by both men and women in the 4x100 meters.
When you're the host, it's a great way to start things off. So a season best time for LSU, beating Kentucky, just holding them off by 100th of a second. Georgia with 3 out of 4 of the staff on that quartet freshmen, and Ole Miss finishing 4th. All right, the relays are over until the very end. When we come back, the men's 1,500 meter final. All right, the relays are over until the very end. When we come back, the men's 1,500 meter final. And they are away. And we will focus on the guy with the yellow shoes.
Thank you for that bit of clarification. That really clears things up for us. A big bunch there going up to the front. Elias Schrimmel of Arkansas among them. And Anna Sasai is typically one who really likes to go and sit out in the back of the pack. Likes to kind of be there and bide his time because he has a phenomenal closing kick that he can rely upon. One of the athletes to keep in mind, though, right down the outside of lane 1 with the 12 on his chest, the LSU uniform of Davis Bove. He looked fantastic in qualifying yesterday. Easily won his qualifying heat, an outstanding triathlete as well as middle distance runner, and he was runner-up at the SEC Indoor Championships earlier this year, now looking to be a factor outdoors.
That's Ryan Kanani of Auburn currently in the lead. And Asai back of the pack just like he was in his semifinal. First 400 meters, a little bit on the slowish side at 63 seconds.
And you would expect it to be relatively conservative because a lot of these guys are expected to come back and run the 5,000. And many not worried about the pace because they already have those times that they might need for NCAA regional qualification. This is all about position, points, and place, Dwight. And looking at Hillary Chariot is in a great place right now, sitting in 3rd in that Alabama red. In the Alabama Crimson, I should say.
Davis Bove in 2nd there with the gator on his chest. Now suddenly out of nowhere, Anas Asai is in the middle of things. He was at the back, now he's in 2nd. And look at them bunch up. 63 seconds on the first 400. Looks like this 400 is going even slower as Asai has had enough of that and steps up to the front. Chariot covers that move. Kanani now starting to drop back, and Bove there in 4th.
And this is where we've seen such great growth over the last year from Anas Asai. He's gotten so much more savvy in championship situations.
62.4 on that second lap, only because Asai picked things up for about 150 meters. Kanan now trying to get back in the mix as he went out very slowly. Chariot in 2nd, Kanan in 3rd, Bove 4th, Schrimmel 5th. Camerieri, middle of the pack.
And Anthony Camerieri can run and win from a number of different ways. He can be a front runner. He can come from behind. He has a great closing kick as he put on display at the NCAA Indoor Championships on their distance medley relay. But the pace has really gotten spicy, Dwight.
Asai, 2-time indoor mile champion, trying to make it happen here outdoors. Took the lead with 2 laps remaining, and is now starting to wind it up, shifts gears and gaps Chariot a little bit by about 5 meters now. He is off. He's in his full sprint. Chariot can't cover the move. 57-second third lap for Asai. Schrimmel now with a number 7 on his segment trying to get into the mix as well. But look at Asai. His lead just grows. Now it's 20 meters. Schremmel now into second. Camerieri into third. Truyat's going backwards. It is all Anas Saeed, the sophomore from South Carolina and Morocco, running away with this 1,500-meter race at the conference meet. Schremmel trying to hold on to second. It is Asai and close for second. I'm not sure Schremmel hung on to it.
Shane Bracken was closing hard on that second place finish.
He just decided, you know what, if you guys are going to run 63s, that's great for me because I can run 54.6 for the last 400, and he just kept running away from people. No way anybody could cover the move.
He has gotten so much more comfortable with the ability to run in a pack, and that is what you saw him put on display right there. Perfectly executed race, was able to just very strategically work his way up on those first 2 laps, and then just throws the hammer down in the final 400 meters. With the celebration at the finish line, the indoor champ in the mile is now your outdoor champion at 1,500 meters. And watch for him to be a factor next month in the NCAA championships as well.
First 1,500-meter title at the conference level for South Carolina. He wins it easily, equivalent of about a 3:58 mile, and he's downstairs with John Anderson.
Thank you, Dwight. I am here with the 1,500-meter champ in his yellow shoes. Okay, you said it was too easy. How come this was too easy?
Honestly, I've spent 3 weeks in Morocco with my coach in altitude. I've trained hard. I've trained so hard for this, and I was ready. And I had a call today with my coach. He said, "You are better than everyone." And that stuck to my mind. And he told me after the 800 you should go because no one's gonna follow you. I've done so many tests to test myself and how I'm gonna go. That was easy, I think.
So overall, the time, you look at it, 3:41. You're pleased, you're like, I got more to come.
I've spent 3 weeks, as I said, in altitude. I wanted more competition, the pace, 3:30, 3:31, but I can't find this pace, but I trained for to get to races like this, to get ready for regionals and nationals.
Well, you didn't get it in this race, probably won't get it regionals, but I'm sure you'll get a fill when we get to Austin, Texas for the national championships. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Dwight?
All right, John. He's also a guy that will represent Morocco at the World Championships later this year. Look for him in Budapest. He wins it easily over Shane Bracken, who just leaned out Schremmel of Arkansas. There is your 1,500-meter SEC champion from South Carolina, a first.
Metro offers MLS season pass.
Welcome back to the SEC Track and Field Championships, and on the first night of competition, the women's 10,000, Arkansas well represented with 3 different athletes in this field looking to get the ball rolling for the Hogs with some big points implications. There is the trio right up front. Sydney Thorvaldsen would lead the majority of the race, taking her teammate Julia Patternane along with her for that 1-2 finish for Arkansas. An embrace between those teammates at the finish line. Arkansas getting 3 different point scores in that final with Sydney Thorvaldsen and Julia Patternane, as well as Naya Hernandez. And then last night, the women's steeplechase, the water jump, always a significant factor. Those 3 separated themselves to that. And then look at the tumble. That was Laura Taborda of Arkansas just tumbling over the barrier, lost her footing as the fatigue set in. So Crystal Vandenberg of Ole Miss races out to a 9-second personal best, sets a school record as well, and wins her first ever SEC steeplechase title, 9:56.56, followed by Gracie Hyde and Laura Taborda of Arkansas.
And here are the team standings after 10 events on the women's side. Things pretty tight between Arkansas and Texas A&M, with Ole Miss lurking in third. As we get ready for the women's 1,500-meter final, 12 athletes. There are the records. Jenny Behringer, now Simpson, the only one to ever break 4 minutes at the collegiate level. And there are the 3 athletes we're looking at closely. From left to right, Flamina Asicol of Alabama, Lorena Rangel Batres, and Imogen Barrett of Florida.
This is a race that anyone could win. They are all just incredible middle distance talents, and Lorena Rangel Batres was the fastest qualifier out of prelims. So, Dwight, if those relays were any indications, there's a lot of motivation for the LSU athletes on their home track, and certainly added for Lorena Rangel Batres, looking to get out there and set the pace early on in the women's 1500.
Florida senior Imogen Barrett will be coming back in the 800, where she is the defending champion.
As will her teammate Gabby Wilkinson. Both of those athletes, and we're seeing a little trouble early on things. They got bolted out there to get onto the rail. That's Laurel Wynn, who goes up to the front, as well as Salan Ayl-Diz of South Carolina. We saw Laurel Wynn in qualifying lead the entirety of her race. So she's right up there in the mix as well. Or again, I should say, Salan Ayl-Diz right there of South Carolina. Her. She's done a couple of open events, ran on some relays at Penn Relays, and that's where Curtis Fry says they really feel like they started to get her back into form. So she's looking to be in great shape as we go into championship season. And then right next to her on her shoulder, that is Heidi Nielsen. And then watch as you see all the way on the outside of the track in the all-white, that is Imogen Barrett, who has previously been a 1,500-meter champion at the SEC previously in her career. The reigning 800-meter champion. She has that sub-201 800-meter speed and likes to work her way up throughout the course of the pack. I asked her last night after qualifying for the 800 where she feels like her strength is, and as much as she loves the 800, she said she's putting a ton of emphasis on the 15 in this championship.
They were out in 72.3. Ayl-Diz doing the same thing she did in the semifinals, kind of controlling the pace, and no one's really heading her. You can see a couple of athletes out into lane 2 and many in the outside of lane 1, simply because the pace is so slow that they have to make certain that they've got room to run. The entire pack of 12 right there, compressed within about 4 or 5 meters, with this very, very pedestrian pace.
And all three Florida Gators in the mix right now. Wilkinson, Barrett, and Lucinda Rourke working together, using one another.
That was a 72-second lap again, so now the racing is starting to a degree, even though we are not seeing a lot of separation. 5 athletes now running fully in lane 2, and if they're doing that in the curve, they're running the extra distance, but it's better than potentially getting tangled up and perhaps having a fall or having your stride broken, which is just as bad.
Heidi Nielsen looking really strong. She had mono in the winter that carried over into the indoor season and affected her chances at competing indoors. So looking to break things open and setting the pace as they go into the bell lap. Here comes a big charge from Imogen Barrett.
It's Nielsen at the bell. And there's a group of about 7 that have separated themselves. But look at how many runners are running that extra distance on the curve just to stay out of trouble. Nielsen, Ayl-Diz, Wilkinson, McCune. And that was a 67-second lap, so things have really wound up, and a lot of athletes remaining in contention.
Look at how wide Rangel is swinging, way on the outside. White top of LSU. She is making a charge and coming for Ayl-Diz of South Carolina.
And Ayl-Diz reacts immediately to feeling Rangel on her shoulder. Wilkinson by herself in 3, Barrett outside in lane 2. Then McCune. Now it's just Ayl-Diz and Rangel Batres. It's going to be Ayl-Diz at this point unless Batres finds another gear. Salan Ayl-Diz of South Carolina matches her male counterpart from the men's 1500 and wins the title for the Gamecocks here in Baton Rouge. 62-second last 400.
aggressively made the move to get out there up front, and when Lorena Rangel Betrez came on her shoulder, an immediate response from Salon Ayildiz. Look at how she drives, uses that arm motion to drive her knees. Eased up significantly before the finish line. She was celebrating with about 3 strides to go, kind of like we saw her yesterday. She is coming into form at exactly the right time, and what an incredibly tactical race, a beautifully executed race from her, and such a great run from Lorena Rangel of LSU to finish second. Big points for the Gators, with Gabby Wilkinson and Imogen Barrett going 3 and 6.
And just like in the men's races, the first victory at this event for South Carolina, and the winner is with John.
This is right now, and the weather is so bad. I'm not used to it.
Listen, if you're exhausted and really tired, you're not under no obligation to speak to us. If you'd like to just go, join the crowd, give me a quick word. It seemed first 3 laps really kind of slow, and you decided to win the 400 meters. How did you see the whole thing lay out for you?
First, I didn't want to go. I wanted to go just gold medal. So first couple lap was too slow. 72 maybe. I was looking time to, but last 300 I felt so good, and I started to speed it. So I feel so good right now.
Dwight, breathless in victory. That's what you have here. 1,500, but really, sometimes all you do is run the really good last 300, and that's what we got here from Salon.
All right, John. It was a Gamecock sweep at the 1,500 meters. Anas Asai winning the men's, and Aldiz winning the women's.
The first few days of competition at the SEC Championships included several of the distance finals, including the men's 10,000 meters. Alabama's Victor Kiprop aiming to go back-to-back, but he would get a battle with Tennessee's Yassine Abdallah going down to the final lap. Look at the closing 400 meters. Victor Kiprop is victorious. Alabama has now won 6 SEC men's 10K titles in a row with that victory for Kiprop. Yassine Abdallah finishes second, with South Carolina's Rogero Amaral in third. And the men's steeplechase from Friday night, Texas A&M, what a day for the Aggies. Frankie Romero charges to the lead with 800 meters to go. Reaches out in celebration as they go 1 and 2. Frankie Romero wins his first ever SEC steeple title as his teammate Teddy Radke takes second. Wesley John of Georgia finishing third.
So updated men's standings, and the Bulls of Arkansas A&M is down to 30 points. Ole Miss lurking in third, just 9 points back. Then LSU right there with Georgia. Next event on the track, the finals of the men's 110 hurdles. Collegiate record holder is Grant Holloway, twice the world champion, Olympic silver medalist. Also holds the meet record along with Daniel Roberts. And in the middle of the track, that's Devon Brooks. He's a senior at Tennessee.
Well, the qualifying round yesterday got a little chippy between Philip Lamonius. There you see him from Arkansas. We'll get a look at him in a second. When Lamonius taunted Mastari after the race, the two had to be separated. Here they are right next to each other. Coach Dwayne Ross from Tennessee said that he loves the fact that Mastari runs with a lot of passion, but that passion can sometimes get him into trouble. There you see Brooks along with 3 other Tennessee athletes. If you're going to build your team around somebody, Coach Dwayne Ross of Tennessee said, you might as well make it hurdlers. 4 Tennessee hurdlers in this race.
They run the hurdles with a prevailing tailwind from right to left. Lane 1 closest to you, lane 9 furthest away. Long gun. Devon Brooks stands up out of the blocks. It is Rasheem Brown of Tennessee that got the early start. Connor Schulman is there. Devon Brooks finally takes over, looks over. 13:53 with no wind whatsoever, which is a little unusual here.
Philip Lamonius, Arkansas.
And we'll have to count up the points that Tennessee scores there, but Brooks clearly victorious in this 110 hurdle race.
Well, Devon Brooks has shifted from 8 strides to 7 strides, and sometimes he can be a little slow to the first hurdle, and he certainly was. There you see on the left of our screen, that's Philip Lamonius, the best Arkansas runner this season and past season, but there you see Brooks come from way back to win that race. Look how far back. Brooks is certainly not the leader after about the first 3, but then he made his move about halfway through. But I'll tell you, these hurdlers had it a little rough. It seemed like they brought the hurdlers out a little too early, way before the women's 1,500 meters, and then they had to exit the track to get out of the sun. They were out there for quite some time before that race went off, and that might have what had contributed to maybe not the fast times that we're used to seeing. But look at the placing by Tennessee. 1st, 3rd, and 4th. Big points. We talk about them being a factor in the team race today.
As well as 8th place. 22 total points for the Volunteers in that 110 hurdles race. That's why I said that gap between Arkansas and Tennessee, it's going to get smaller and smaller as they start to move up. Now let's get you caught up on a couple of field events. Remember, it's track and field.
And here in the women's pole vault, there you see the records. Olivia Groover got your national record. Sandy Morris from Arkansas, still your SEC record holder. This is Mackenzie Hayward. This will be her 3rd attempt, 14.3.5. She was 6th at last year's outdoor SEC championship. Looking to better that placing this year, and she would. She would get over 14.3 1/4 for a personal best on her 3rd attempt. And look at her celebrate with her teammates. We certainly love the vault at Arkansas. And to break up the Arkansas sweep, this is Heather Abadi, the sophomore from Texas A&M, at the same bar. This would be her 1st attempt at 14.3 1/4. She would take over 2nd place on misses. Youngsters from Canada, she was 6th at the SEC Indoor Championships, 8th at the SEC Outdoor Championships last year. And your winner today would be an Arkansas Razorback, believe it or not, Amanda Fassold, the junior. She would win on misses. She would get over 14.3 1/4 on her 1st attempt and go clear your SEC Outdoor Defending Champion, SEC Indoor Champion, and 2023 NCAA Indoor Champion. She comes away with another championship.
Arkansas with 16 points in the women's vault. As we move over to the women's long jump, the woman just owns this event. The collegiate record is Tara Davis, 23.5 1/4, but Jasmine Moore owns it. Defending SEC and NCAA indoor champion. She won both titles last year. Also an excellent triple jumper. We will see her later in the day today. And here she is in the long jump on the very first attempt down the runway, bouncing along, keeping her center of gravity high, great landing. And she goes out to 22.4 1/2 early. That was good enough to win the competition. She had a bunch of jumps within a 1/2 inch. This is Claire Bryant. On her 6th and final attempt, the junior from Florida moves up the leaderboard. She was 2nd at the indoor meet. She was 3rd at the NCAA's indoors, and 21.11 moves her up to 3rd place. She was 2nd here last year. Then Anthea Charlton, the freshman from 9 SEC titles altogether between the triple jump and the long jump indoors and outdoors for Jasmine Moore. So now let's take a look after 11 events. Arkansas now with just an 8-point lead over A&M, and Ole Miss is just a 1/2 point back, and Florida is also right there, very tight amongst the top 4. As we get ready now for the women's 100-meter hurdles, there is the collegiate record, which was set earlier this year. Jasmine Camacho Quinn is the Olympic champion. She had the meet record. And there is the collegiate record holder. That is Masai Russell. And back at Texas Relays, the 1st of April, on a perfect condition day, this is what Masai Russell does. You can see her there in lane 5. She is just picking them up and putting them down with a little bit of a tailwind, and surprised herself by setting the current collegiate record of 12:36, just 2 weeks out of indoor season, where she was a runner-up at the 60-meter hurdle event. She sets the collegiate record. She was the conference indoor champion, And as I said, she was the runner-up at the NCAA Indoor, but she has her hands full in this 100-meter hurdle final, because right next to her is Aaliyah Armstrong, and she is no slouch.
Well, she certainly is not. She ran the fastest all conditions race yesterday, 12:31. Absolutely amazing. She was on the U.S. World Championship team last year. This is Akira Nugent. She owns the NCAA indoor record, but this is probably one of the most anticipated races of these championships. You have the number 1, number 4, number 6 fastest hurdlers in the world right now, and then you add Grace Starks from Florida. She's also in the mix as well. And Kentucky coach Lonnie Green, he almost couldn't contain himself when I asked him about this race, and he said, get ready for a show.
Plus the wind is down, so the result is likely to be under the allowable. And with these three in this race, anything is possible. A long hold and a great start by Masai Russell and Aaliyah Armstrong. We saw Armstrong in the relay and Russell as well. Here comes Akira Nugent. Russell is fading. Aaliyah Armstrong, Akira Nugent. It's going to be, oh, it looks like Armstrong, Nugent, Russell. 12:41, 0.4 meters per second wind, so it's under the allowable. And that is just missing the meet record by, no, it ties the meet record of Jasmine Camacho Quinn of Kentucky, the Olympic champion in the 100-meter hurdles. And you couldn't expect anything less than a spectacular race with these women at the line.
Well, Aaliyah Armstrong here in the finals did what she did in the prelims, and she got a spectacular start. Masai Russell also got a good start, but when Aaliyah Armstrong gets the start that she needs, and she just had right there, she gets that edge and she holds everybody off. Akira Nugent really made a nice run from behind, really pressed her all the way, but every time Akira Nugent edged up on it, you could see it. Aaliyah Armstrong answered the call and would push through the line. These three are going to battle it out all season long. This certainly won't be the last time we see these three lined up next to each other.
You would have made a lot of money betting on Russell to get third, but that's what happened. Aaliyah Armstrong ties the meet record at 12:40, and that is a lifetime best for her. Nugent second, Russell not a distant third, and the champion is downstairs with John.
Right, this is the SEC Championship. I feel like that could be the NCAA Championship. I feel like that could be the Diamond League. First off, tell me about being in this field and where you were mentally getting prepared for this race.
Mentally, I knew I needed to get out and I needed to increase. My main goal was that I knew that there's two very talented ladies next to me, and I know that I'm not the only one in the field that's professional at this, quote unquote. So I just knew, never counted anybody out, always remain humble, and just have my head in the track and did the best I could. And that was it.
Last couple, 3 hurdles, you can feel they're there. How is it you make sure that I'm relaxed and just run like I'm supposed to run?
The World Championships kind of prepared me for this moment in particular, because I used to have a problem with blinders, having blinders on. So now I know how to stay composed, and I know to keep my calm when there's someone next to me, because I'm in my own lane. They don't control me.
Congratulations, and congratulations on another 4x1 win for the LSU Tigers.
Thank you.
Dwight, again, as you said, no substitute for that World and Olympic Championship experience. Pays off for her here.
Right, nothing like it, John, that's for sure. First time in college history where 3 women are under 12:50. Amazing race. More to come.
And back to the SEC Championships, we'll go over to the men's shot put. John Godina, clear back from 1995, still owns that collegiate record. Brett Noon from Georgia, the SEC Championship record. This is Joshua Sabota, the senior from Kentucky. He was 4th at the SEC Indoor Championships and 4th outdoors last year. Looking to improve on that. Nice turn into the middle, nice and balanced in on the second round. He would get a big-time personal best, 67 feet even. Well, the finals would be ruled the top 3 spots by all seniors. This is John Meyer, senior from LSU. He was 1st at the SEC Indoor Championships, 2nd at the Outdoor Championships last year, and he would line drive his way in the 3rd attempt out to 67.3 1/4 inches. Your winner today would have to dig deep in the 4th round. He'd get a big personal best. Is Jordan West, the senior from Arkansas, the transfer from Tennessee. He's your defending champion, wanted to defend here, and he absolutely would. In the 4th round, he goes 67.6 for a big personal best. Believe it or not, this is Arkansas's first championship since 2000. Congratulations to Jordan West. There you see the top 3 guys, all seniors.
And all within a half foot of each other. Tight, good competition in the shot. Move over to the men's high jump. Hollis Conway, twice Olympic medalist, still the collegiate record holder, and Javon Harrison made the Olympic team in 2021. This is the transfer from Wake Forest senior Tony Jones from Mississippi State. Now third attempt clearance at 7 1 3/4. He was third indoors. He takes the third here as well. 6th at the NCAA meet. This is Dontavius Hill, probably the favorite coming in from Auburn. The senior also jumped 7 1 3/4 on his first attempt. 6th at the indoor meet. Had a tough indoor meet. 2nd here last year, and he figured he would have things well in hand, but just one miss at 7-3 is what sealed it. Roberto Vilches had misses on the way, but the senior from Mexico nails 7-3 on his first attempt, and the Missouri senior wins the SEC indoor after finishing 2nd at the indoor meet. He wins the outdoor competition, was 7th at the indoor NCAAs. And a nice way to finish your senior year for the Missouri Tigers. Vilches wins it on height over Hill and Jones. And speaking of notable Missouri high jumpers, we would like to wish our colleague, our mentor, our leader, John Anderson, a very happy birthday. There he is, class of '87, his Missouri track and field photo. My man, J.A., happy birthday.
Man, I look just as good 30-some-odd years later, don't I?
No question.
Haven't aged a bit.
Look at all that hair.
Oh, yeah, and blonde, too, on top of that. So, also, just great to watch Missouri win in the high jump because, you know, Dwight, you know this. Nat Page and Ben Lucero and Vilches, like, I don't know how I'm even in that mess, right? Like, I need to divorce myself from that as best I can.
I call that an incredible Missouri tradition in the high jump, actually. Happy birthday, my friend. As we move along to the men's 400-meter final, Michael Norman, the world champion, is the collegiate record holder. Fred Curley, pretty good 100-meter runner now, but a very good 400-meter runner in college. As we take a look at lane number 7, the junior from Tennessee, Emmanuel Bynum. We'll see him later in the 200 as well.
Well, Emmanuel Bynum, he wasn't sure he was going to run that race this season, but Dwayne Ross has convinced him that's where he needs to be. He's on the outside in lane 7, Elijah Godwin in lane 5, and we certainly know what Elijah Godwin can do. But here today in this race, talk to Coach Carroll. Look at what he has done. Olympic bronze medalist in the mixed relay, indoor championships, SEC championships as well. But he ran his best race in the qualifying, really just now starting to run fast in the season, but he will have a long post-collegiate season as well. NCAA's U.S. champs around the corner. He'll be trying to make another world championship team, but he'll be on the inside. Talking to Dwayne Rosso, Emmanuel Bynum, who has run better than anybody else in the conference this season out there in lane 7. He likes Bynum in the outside lane because he thinks he's going to run a little bit scared, a little bit nervous out there with Elijah Godwin on his inside. Coach Carroll from Georgia said she wants to see Elijah Godwin really push in that first 100 and 200. He's been working on his 200-meter speed this season, and it shouldn't be hard for him to get to the 200-meter mark just a little bit quicker than he did yesterday.
No question, this is a great lane draw for Elijah Godwin. Let's not forget about Ryan Willey out in lane 8, one lane out from Emmanuel Bynum. He can bring it as well. He will be a good rabbit for both Godwin and Bynum. And they are off in the all-black of Georgia. It's Elijah Godwin in 5, Emmanuel Bynum in 7, Willey in 8, and Willey is out, as is Godwin.
Well, Godwin looks like he's doing what Coach Carroll said. He's pushing that first 200 meters. He's almost made up the stagger there to Manya Bamadelli from Florida in the outside lane.
Right now it is Willey and Godwin, and Bynum starting to make a move. Godwin on the inside, looks like he might have the lead off the turn. It's Godwin, followed by Bynum and Willey. Here comes Willey with that lift. Godwin with no knee drive, Ryan Willie, what did I say? Florida wins the 400. Godwin hangs on to second, Bynum third. 44-28, that is a new collegiate leader. Corrected to 44-27. Don't ever count this young man out. The Florida junior, he's a great relay runner, but he can bring it in the individual as well.
Well, Emmanuel Bynum, he's not horribly experienced in the last 100 meters, but Ryan Willie and Elijah Godwin certainly are. And you see that experience by Ryan Willie just take over. Look, he's so calm. He just continues to move his arms. And Mike Holloway said this guy shows up at the big races. He's a championship runner, and he came through today. We didn't talk about him much in the onset because he hadn't run extremely fast times this season, but he showed up when they needed him most in a big time performance right there.
And a huge lifetime best for the Florida junior, 44-27 to take the title over Elijah Godwin, who almost improved on his lifetime best just by 0.05 of a second, did he not get it? And Emmanuel Bynum still ran a great race, 3 under the previous collegiate leader, and John is downstairs with the champion.
All right, very good. I captured Ryan Willie the other day, and I said, hey, what's it going to take to win? I said 44.5, and you said what?
44 low.
And look what won, 44 low. How is it you were the guy that was 44 lowest?
All I did was just trust my coach and execute my race like he told me to. He told me before I got out here. He said I was the man. So I went in here with confidence, knowing as long as I execute my race, I was going to do what I needed to do.
Where was the key spot in it for you over those 400 meters?
The last 150 meters. I knew the guys behind me were just as fast, but my coach told me to keep my composure, keep my arms low, and just pump. And that's exactly what I did.
Still got a 4x4 to go, but a smoking 4x1, a win here. Congratulations on a good day so far.
Appreciate it.
All right, we're doing it Big Willie style down in Florida.
All right, John, that is a school record. He breaks champion Allison's record by 100th of a second, and it's the number 11-time all-time collegiate. Amazing race.
The multi-events would dominate the first couple of days of the SEC Championships, and here we get a look at the heptathlon. This is Beatrice Giuseppesute. She's a transfer grad student from Cornell. She's winner of the Mount Sac Relays this year. She would come away with a heat win, take the victory in the 100-meter hurdles, 13:34, so a great start for her over last season's SEC champion, Sterling Lester. Then she move over to the shot put. Shot put's one of her better events. On her third attempt, she'd go 55.5 3/4 and really start to establish a lead. On day 2, after experiencing hot conditions, she would long jump well, and on her second attempt, she'd go 20 feet 10, and she'd need all the guts she could to come home in a 2:17.83 for 853 points. And then you see she paid the price for 2 hard days in the multi-events, but she would be your champion this year in the SEC. So an Ivy League championship, now an SEC champion, and a new personal best for Beatrice Giuseppesute from Vanderbilt.
Women's team standings after 13 events. Florida just 9 behind Arkansas, with Texas A&M 6 back from there. So things are tightening considerably. Women's 400 is next. Collegiate record 49.40 set yesterday. She has the collegiate record and the meet record, and we will see her later in the 400-meter hurdles. We're talking about Arkansas junior Britton Wilson, and last night in the heat she decided to go for it in her 400-meter heat. We were wondering what to expect from her. She's trying to keep her energy as best as she can, but she on day 1 qualified for the 400 hurdles. This is day 2's performance, and look at the gap between herself and the other competitors in her heat. She went for it and broke that collegiate record, facility record, 49.40. She is the collegiate record holder now. What might she have in store for this final?
Well, what I love about that run yesterday is she didn't need to run that fast, but she knew well enough within herself that she was in such a good rhythm that she was not about to slow down and leave that opportunity out there. I talked to her coach, Chris Johnson, and he said that wasn't the plan, but he was glad that she did it. She really pushed herself. And a lot of athletes would have slowed down, but she knew she was in such a good rhythm. Here we see Talitha Diggs, and she's really got to do something special to come up with a win. But I talked to Coach Holloway earlier, and he said, look, she's about a month away from her top conditioning. He was looking at the NCAA meet and the U.S. championships for her to be at her absolute best. But, she's always a gamer, and she's going to give it 100%.
Getting back to Britton Wilson, she is the defending champion in this event as well as the world leader. There are the lane assignments, and what a great lane draw for Britton Wilson. She gets to watch Talitha Diggs out in front of her, which should be a great rabbiting opportunity. Wilson in 6, Diggs in 7. And Diggs is out hard and fast, as are Tiara Robinson-Jones and Rosie Effiong on the outside.
But just keep your eyes on Britton Wilson. There she is, 4th from the left. She just runs so effortlessly. We'll see if that big run yesterday took anything out of her.
Well, she is well in the lead now, and if she's feeling that rhythm again, no telling what might happen. The wind has been negligible, so she shouldn't have too much of a headwind coming into this finishing straight. She's way out in front of a field of very good 400-meter runners. The battle is for second. Right now it's Diggs, but Jermisha Arnold of A&M is coming up, as is Tiara Robinson-Jones. It is Wilson who sets another collegiate record. 49-14 unofficially. Let's see if it corrects. Yes, 13. 49-13. She alters the collegiate record twice in 24 hours with a 400-meter hurdles race still yet to run, and probably the 4x400 relay. Number 4 all-time U.S.
Well, this is why when the SEC conference goes off, everybody in the country stops and looks. Look at Britton Wilson, how far. I began to say down the home stretch she was showing some signs of fatigue, but she was working so hard. You see her as she gets closer and closer to the line, but another gargantuan effort by her, and she comes away with another record. She was just in such a groove, almost exact same position she was in yesterday. We are watching somebody just really, really special. To double up like this, 400 meters, 400-meter hurdle, she's got to come back and run at least one more race today. I don't know if we'll see her in the 4x400 meters, but she's on another level right now.
4 Arkansas scorers, 16 total points in the 400 meters for the Hogs. Britton Wilson, she can't talk to us now. She's got to get ready for the 400 hurdles, but we just saw something special. Another collegiate record by Britton Wilson in the 400 meters. On the men's side, with 2/3 of the events in the books, 44 points. That's hefty. And we still aren't seeing Tennessee up where we expect that they will be with all the finalists they have as we get ready now for the men's 100-meter final. World champion Christian Coleman has the collegiate record, and Richard Thompson, silver medalist from Beijing when he was at LSU, has the meet record. As we're looking at the defending champion, who will start out of lane number 5, the sophomore from Auburn, Favor Ashe.
Well, it's hard to believe he ran his very first race of the outdoor season yesterday. He looked phenomenal. Auburn pulled their 4x100 meter relay out at the beginning of this meet. They just wanted to concentrate. He has had some health issues, so he didn't get a start on his outdoor season. But when he gets it right, when he comes out of the blocks and makes a transition correctly, he is tough to beat. There you see Godson Ogunbrume. He's run under 10 flat a couple of times this season, windy, but he anchored that LSU team in the 4x100 meter relay, but he has been the conference leader all this outdoor season.
And in quite the coincidence, both Favor Ashe and Godson Ogunbrume come from the same town in Nigeria, Ughelli, Nigeria. They are both from there. So a little bit of a rivalry just from a standpoint of where they originated from. Ashe, the defending champion, ran 10:06 yesterday. He dubbed that a good debut. And Ogunbrume anchored the LSU collegiate record in the 4x100 meter relay that we saw just about an hour and a half ago.
Keep an eye on DeMarcus Fleming as well, just to Ashe's left.
Ashe with a good reaction to the gun, as is Ogunbrume. Ogunbrume had a better start, but here comes Ashe. Favor Ashe, can he catch him? Ooh, no, he did not. It's Godson Ogunbrume. 10:05 with a 1.3 tailwind, so under the allowable. So that is Ogunbrume's new lifetime best, down from 10:12, corrected to 10:04. Ogunbrume with maybe a slight upset over the defending champion, but Ashe was right there, and he had to give him everything to beat him.
Well, the qualifying round, Godson Ogunbrume had a horrible start, and he had to come from way back, and it looked really impressive. But today he got a really solid start. And you see both the favorites up front there. Godson Ogunbrume, it looks like he just out-leans him there. There you see Faber-Haché running nice and upright, but as a tall figure in the white top and the purple bottoms. A couple of big sprint wins now for the LSU Tiger, and a legal mark. Ogunbrume had been under 10 flat a couple of times windy, but it's always exciting when you get your legal personal best there, and it's got a 10-0 in front of it.
You know, it didn't look like there were 0.04 of a second separating those two, but that's what they say. Ogunbrume wins it with a lifetime best. Haché does not defend successfully, and Dorian Kamel ends up third. And the champion is downstairs with John.
I am with the champ, and I asked him, how well do you know Faber-Haché that you beat? And you said what? How your boys?
It's my homeboy from back home Nigeria. We grew up from the same place, the same everything. Went to the same high school, had the same coach, everything. So he's like a brother to me.
So they came a long way to race in Baton Rouge. Why were you better today than him and everybody else in the other lanes?
I just execute. I wouldn't say I'm better, but I just execute, just do what my coach asked me to do, and just stay patient and just enjoy the race.
Mm-hmm. If there was a best part of that where you decided, this is my day, this is why I won, where in those 100 meters was it?
I think it's the start, because like for yesterday during the heats, I ain't really got my start, but I just fixed that today. My coach just told me just stay patient and everything, and I just did that. He just got better.
Big day for Godson, won the 100. Congratulations. Anchor leg on the record-setting 4x1 as well.
Yeah, home cooking is not a bad thing, and LSU really profiting from that. Again, I just don't see 0.04 of a second there, but that's what they say. Godson Ogunbrume, lifetime best and SEC champ.
Back to Baton Rouge for the women's shot put here at the SEC Championships. There you see the meet record, Latavia Maines, back in 2021, 61.4½. Here's a senior from Alabama, Charisse Murray from Trinidad and Tobago. She was sixth at the SEC Indoor Championships, fourth clear back in 2021, and she would snap one out there on the sixth round. She would go 57 3/4 of an inch for a personal best, an outstanding performance for her after not competing all of 2022. This is Jelani Davis, the senior from Ole Miss. She was second at the SEC Indoor Championships, second at the SEC Outdoor Championships back in 2021. She would spin one out there and put the ground, but that would not be called a foul, and her third attempt would net her a 58 feet 10 1/4 inch throw for a personal record. But there was no stopping this Florida Gator today. Alita Van Dalen from the Netherlands, just a freshman. She was your SEC Indoor Champion. And here in the second round, she would put one way out there in front of the competition and making that judge jump out of the way for a big throw. 59 3.5, and she would complete the sweep, both indoors and outdoors. Your SEC Outdoor Shot Put champ.
So we take a look at the updated standings after 14 events. Arkansas with an 18-point lead over A&M. Florida just one back, and Ole Miss still hanging around at 57.5. Ready now for the women's 100 meters. Sha'Carri Richardson setting that record when we were in Austin 4 years ago. And the meet record held by Alea Hobbs, both of them very good professional athletes now. Jacius Sears, the senior from Tennessee, she will be in the middle of the track starting in lane number 5.
Well, and it's an interesting lane for Jacius Sears as well. Her coach, Dwayne Ross, says she likes to be on the outside because she can really focus, but now she's in the middle of the track. She's got to put those blinders on and just concentrate in her lane and only her lane all the way down the track. And we move over to lane 6. This is Anthea Charlton. She's coached by Lonnie Green, and interesting enough, Lonnie Green coached her sister while at Purdue. Her sister's an outstanding hurdler, Devin Charlton, both from the Bahamas. Now he gets a chance to coach the younger sister. She long jumped 22 feet yesterday, and she had a really nice run here in the 100 meters. And then on the outside in lane 7, the SEC Freshman of the Year, Kayla Jackson. And there you see, got an insulin pump on her left arm when she was 13 years old, diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, but look what she has done since she's come to the University of Georgia. Equaled the world under 20 record in 60 meters. Number of number of freshmen of the weeks, but there you see Michigan Gatorade 2022 High School Gatorade Player of the Year. And Coach Carroll says she's got the killer instinct. If anything, she needs to try to calm her down a little bit. She said, have fun today, but she's not somebody that she has to give a pep talk to. We'll see her back here in the 200-meter final as well.
Along with those three young ladies, Akira Nugent from Arkansas also in this field. She was second in the 100-meter hurdles.
And from Ole Miss, on the outside in lane 8, keep an eye on Mackenzie Long. She's trying to win the first ever 100-meter title for Ole Miss, both men and women.
And not to be forgotten, out in lane 9, the defending champion in this race, Favor Ofili, the junior from LSU. She won both the 100 and the 200 last year when we were in Oxford, Mississippi, when Ole Miss hosted the event. You can see her all the way on the left side of the screen. So a stacked 100-meter field. We know there's a little bit of a tailwind, but not enough to make a record attempt over the allowable from what we last checked. 9 finalists here, led by Jacia Sears. She ran 11:08 yesterday in her semifinal. That's her lifetime best. And Thaya Charlton, the lucky 11:11, also a lifetime best yesterday in the semifinal. Sears with a great reaction to the gun in the orange right in the middle of the track. Jacia Sears is out. But so is Mackenzie Long, and Sears, the last 15 meters, just find another gear and quickly bolts in front of everyone else. 10:96 with a .9 trailing win. She's under 11 seconds for the first time legal in her career. A huge lifetime best, down from 11:08 yesterday.
Well, she just keeps having a tremendous 2023 season. She told her coach, I'm going to win the 60 meters indoors, and then she comes to this meet and says, I'm going to win the 100 meters and the 200 meters. Coach, look at Jacia Sears. She's on the outside there of our picture in lane 5. Kayla Jackson from Georgia, she also got a fantastic start, but look at the intensity by Jacia Sears. It was pretty even through the first 40 meters, and then Jacia just took over in the last part of this race. Just so much concentration all the way to the line. Didn't even have to dip. Love what my coach used to say, let the line come to you and just run through it. Big time performance there and a personal best.
Personal best for both Sears and Jackson. Long third, Akira Nugent. Favor Ofili, the defending champion, way down in 5th place. So Jacia Sears, she predicts she wins, and she does so. Back with more when we return to Baton Rouge. And we are back with you for more of our coverage of the 2023 SEC Outdoor Track and Field Championships from the campus of LSU. Dwight Stones, John Anderson, Dan O'Brien, and Laura Overton bringing you the action. Last night, the men's long jump was contested. And Mississippi State senior Cameron Crump, as you see, the collegiate record holder, Eric Altwalder, is there. Cameron Crump on his 6th and final attempt, trying to crawl up into the standings. He won the indoor title back in February, 2nd at the NCAA indoor, 4th here last year. He pops out to 26.3 on his final effort, just over 8 meters. That was good enough for 3rd place. And here probably are the 2 transfers from hell for Tennessee. Perry McLeod, the only man to beat Javon Harrison all of the outdoor season 2 years ago. He is absolutely one you can count on in the long jump. Now for Arkansas, a transfer from Tennessee and Jamaica. Won the NCAA indoor meet this year. And on his 2nd attempt, he went out to 26.8.5 and thought he had the win secured from his teammate, Wayne Pinnock, the other transfer from Tennessee to Arkansas. And that 2nd round, right after McLeod popped that 26.8.5, Pinnock first at this event last year, the defending champion. He wasn't about to give it up even to his teammate, and he pops out 27.5, a lifetime best in the second round, slamming the door on the rest of the competition and assuring that Arkansas would go 1-2. And Dwayne Ross has got to say that should have been 1-2 for us. 18 points for the Hogs in the long jump. That's some long jumping going on right there.
Well, let's move over to a field event that happened today. Over to Sunny Skies in the men's discus. There's see Mike Bunsett, cleared from back in the mid-1980s. The meet record. This is Alan DeFalchi from Alabama, just a junior. He was 8th this year at the Texas Relays, 2nd at the SEC Outdoor Championships last year. National champion while in junior college. Here in the second round, he would go 2:02.10. He'd finish up in that third place position. This is Ralford Mullings, a sophomore from Arkansas, from Jamaica. He was 4th at the Mount Sac Relays this year. Competed for Arizona State last year. This year, now a Razorback. So in the 6th round, he would go 2:03.5. But the man of the competition, Roger Stone, from Jamaica, representing Arkansas, a senior, transfer from Clemson. He would send one way out in the 4th round for a new meet record. Number 2 collegiate throw all time. Number 4 in the world in 2023. He would go 225 feet, 2 inches, a monstrous throw. And he'd get the essential 10 points for the Arkansas Razorbacks. But there you see Arkansas 1-2, but Arkansas would score 21 points total in the men's discus, led by that number 2 all-time discus throw.
So here are the team standings on the men's side after 15 events. And LSU trying to close that gap, but they're still 31 points behind Arkansas, with A&M another 13 behind them in third as we get ready now for the men's 800-meter final. Michael Ceruni, when he was at El Paso, has the collegiate record. Devin Dixon from A&M has the meet record. Look at lane number 7, the senior from Ole Miss, Tiernan Corkin.
This is one of the deepest 800-meter fields in the nation. You're going to see an absolute heavyweight bout of half-milers. Tiernan Corkin, one of 2 Ole Miss athletes. He has his teammate Baylor Franklin there. Corkin tied for the 3rd fastest 800 in the NCAA currently. And then the freshman phenom from Georgia, Will Sumner, SEC champion indoors as a freshman at 800 meters, one of the highest touted prep prospects last year after that record-breaking high school career, opting to stay in state and compete for the Georgia Bulldogs.
And we've seen that he's got some great leg speed as well, part of that Georgia 4x400 indoor record. There are the lane assignments, with Sumner in 6, Corkin in 7.
And it's great to see Tiernan Corkin back and healthy this year after missing the entirety of the 2022 outdoor season due to injury. Following a 5th place finish at the NCAA Indoor Championships, we saw him run that 1:46.82 at the Texas Relays. That's how he started his outdoor season. Absolute exclamation point on his opening effort over 800 meters and has carried that through into the SECs. There you see Will Sumner doing a little visualization as he lines up and sets up his race. You mentioned it, Dwight, and a phenomenal 400 runner as well.
A 44.80 split when they ran the collegiate leading 258.82 in Texas back in April. Down the inside, that's Leroy Russell, the 3rd of Arkansas, taking it out quickly. Arkansas, LSU, and Tennessee all with a runner in this final. Ole Miss with 2. 24.78 for the first 200 meters. So very honest opening 200. Leroy Russell III, the junior from Arkansas, there on the rail. On the outside from him, that is Sam Whitmarsh of A&M. You can see the big G on his chest. That's Will Sumner with the number 6 on his singlet.
Whitmarsh from Texas A&M, last year's runner-up in the 800 at the SEC Championships, and Will Sumner has solidified fine position. He likes to make a bold move with about 300 meters to go.
51.8 opening, very, very solid. Whitmarsh out there gapping the field, but Sumner is right there, and we know how good of leg speed he has. Sam Austin of Florida there with a 4 on his singlet. 200 meters to go. Whitmarsh still with about 5 meters on Sumner. Sumner must think he's going to reel him in or that he's going to die. Now there goes. He's just shifted gears. Will Sumner, the freshman, realizes he's got a little bit of work to do. Whitmarsh, Sumner, Corkin, Franklin. Sumner is going to pass Whitmarsh. Whitmarsh doing all that work out in front by himself. And Sumner makes it look easy in his very first SEC outdoor title. .25.2 for his final 200, 146.20 for the distance, and that's a lifetime best for Will Sumner.
Has that strong closing kick because he spends part of his time training with the sprinters like Matthew Bowling and Elijah Godwin. Then the next day will go out and run distance with the 5K guys and train with them. Just incredible range and able to tap in to not only that incredible speed that he has, but also the strength that he has developed. He now sweeps the 800s at the SEC Indoor and Outdoor Championships, representing his home state of Georgia.
That's equal to the Division I lead in the 800 meters. A month out from the national championship. Sumner made it look easy, and Whitmarsh did hang on for second. A fine time for Whitmarsh. And Tiernan Corkin getting third, Baylor Franklin fourth. 11 points for Ole Miss. But John Anderson is down with the fantastic freshman, Will Sumner.
Fantastic freshman. Will, I count 2 races, 2 PRs. I feel like that's a good meet. How do we feel about it?
It's pretty good. Definitely something to work on. So it's a good race, though. Good race.
Yeah, well, you had some work to do coming off the final turn.
Yeah.
Explain to me kind of your strategy of what you thought was going to happen and then what did happen.
Well, pretty much happened exactly as I expected. I knew Sam Whitmarsh was going to probably want to take it out around 52, and that's what he went through. And so my plan was just to kind of go with him and then kick when I could, and maybe gave him a little too much room, but I was able to make it up. So overall, I'd say I executed pretty well.
Good enough. Are you done, or are we going to have to see you in the 4x4?
You'll see me in the 4x4.
All right, we'll see you back there. Just bust off a little something 45 low for us, okay?
All right, I'll try. Thank you.
There you go. Dwight?
All right, John, that's the first win for a Georgia half-miler since 2012 when the meet was right back here in Baton Rouge. Women are next.
Metro offers MLS season pass.
On us.
Every match?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Says it on the poster.
Now at Metro, you can enjoy every soccer match with MLS Season Pass on us and unlimited 5G for $25.
I'm terrible at keeping track of my expenses, and I hate filling out spreadsheets. Rocket Money is an all-in-one finance app that tracks and categorizes your spending, helps you create custom budgets, and alerts you if anything needs your attention. Join Rocket Money today, and they'll take care of it for you.
Trinity Thomas is the best in NCAA gymnastics, maybe even in the world.
Wow, did she drill that? Oh, my goodness.
Fantastic.
Gosh, feels like a change is coming.
Or a hysterectomy. If you or a loved one used a chemical hair straightener and then were diagnosed with uterine cancer, ovarian cancer, endometrial cancer, uterine fibroids requiring surgery, or if your loved one died, call the attorneys at Davis & Crump now to see if you're eligible for a cash award and medical expenses. Again, if you or a loved one used a chemical hair straightener and then were diagnosed with an injury, call the number below now to see if you're eligible for a cash award and medical expenses. Call now. Our first consultation is free, and we don't get paid unless you get paid. Call now. Operators are standing by.
Back at the SEC Track and Field Championships, and earlier in the competition, Thursday night, a fantastic women's javelin competition, especially if you were part of Pat Henry's Texas A&M Aggies program. This is Caitlin Fairchild, the sophomore, on her second attempt, launching at 183 feet 1 inch after being second at the SEC Outdoor Championships last year. She would take third in the competition in 2023. This is Sophia Rivera, the senior from the University of Missouri. Fifth attempt. Big toss for her late in the competition. It goes 100. And would do so again this year. The competition coming down to this last attempt for Texas A&M sophomore Liana Davidson. Launching the javelin 189 feet 1 inch, stepping up onto the runway for a career best on her final attempt of the competition. She won earlier this outdoor season at the Florida Relays and wins again when it matters most at the SEC Championships, celebrating with her teammate there as Texas A&M goes 1-3.
And from the lights of the javelin to the daylight of the discus contested today, there you see Shelby Vaughn from 2015 still holds the discus meet record. This is Chelsea Igbarese, the senior from Alabama. On her second attempt, she would whip one out there. She's got a busy weekend. She go 190 feet 2 inches for a personal record. She was 5th in the shot and 4th in the hammer here at these championships. There was the ball cap, Alita Van Dalen, your shot put champion from earlier in these championships. The freshman from Florida on her 6th attempt would have a big personal best as well. 193 feet 7 inches to take the runner-up position. Now your winner today would be from Vanderbilt, coached by Ashley Kovacs, wife of Joe Kovacs, world champion in the shot put, the senior from Vanderbilt. And in her 6th round, she would go 206 feet 2 inches for an all-time personal record. She also won your Florida Relays this year. So congratulations to the Vanderbilt senior on winning the women's discus.
So after 16 events, just 5 remaining, Arkansas still with a 13-point lead over Florida, and then A&M 7 points back in 3rd place. As we get ready now for the women's 800 meters, Athing Mu, Olympic champion, world champion, American record holder, on and on. She had only 1 year at A&M her freshman year, and she did it all. Michaela Rose, she will start in the 6th position. She is the collegiate leader in the event.
This is a spectacular field, and Michaela Rose headlines that. You see that time of 1:49.08. She's the collegiate leader and number 2 in collegiate history from that time, that performance at the Brian Clay Invitational last month.
Just inside her, Imogen Barrett from Florida. It's been an hour and 20 minutes since she ran her 1,500-meter race, where she finished 5th, I believe. And she's right back here in the event where she is the defending champion.
She'll have her teammate Gabby Wilkinson as well in this competition. Wilkinson was 3rd in the 1,500.
So both athletes coming back from the 1,500 in an hour and 20 minutes. Let's see how that affects them. Sanu Jallow from Texas A&M looking like she wants the pole position. So she might get a challenge from Michaela Rose out there.
She likes to run up front. I talked with Michaela Rose last week entering these championships, and she said that she's really trying to develop differently, racing differently, but she does with that nice long stride, likes to get out there and get up front. She has fantastic 400-meter hurdle skill as well, great strength to complement the great speed. She wants to get out there quickly and take advantage of the fact she's coming into this race with fresh legs.
28.4 for the first 200 for Michaela Rose, and you can see she's already gapping the field considerably. Nobody wanting to go with her at this point. Jallow is there, as is Sylvia Shalengat. 58.9 for the first 400, a very solid opening 400. She's doing the work all by herself, running away with it. Now the gap goes to 15 meters. As she just continues to pull away from this field, no one able to cover this move. On the outside there, you see Zoe Brito-Bapapule of Mississippi State having to go wide. Imogen Barrett there with a 5 on her singlet. but no one there to reel in Michaela Rose.
An absolutely punishing pace through 600 meters for Michaela Rose, and this is what we have come to expect from her. Likes to get out, likes to get all by herself and force the field to try to challenge her.
She's just made this into a time trial. Michaela Rose, what a performance. This is not a slouch field that she's running against, and she is not letting up. Just barely breaks 2 minutes. It's not even a lifetime best at 1:59.73, but it is a meet record. She breaks the record of Tiffany McWilliams, 2:01 flat from way back in 2004. And the rest of the field way back.
Goes out aggressively, boldly moves up to the front, taking that aggressive pace through the first 400 meters. Both of her parents ran collegiately for LSU coach Dennis Shaver when he was an assistant at Auburn, carrying that legacy through. When we talked to Coach Dennis Shaver earlier this week, he said she's probably the fourth legacy that he has had, the fourth set of parent and child that he's been able to coach. And look at the victorious celebration from Michaela Rose after winning indoors, does it again outdoors, and it's going to be incredible to watch her go toe-to-toe with Roisin Willis and Juliet Whitaker, the phenomenal freshman of Stanford at the NCAA Championships.
She wins by more than 4 seconds. That's the number 9 time amongst collegians ever. Of course, most of them are by Mo. National, pardon me, 9th in the world this year, 9th fastest in the world this year. Chilenga did hang on for second. Imogene Barrett, coming back from the 1500, gets third here. And the champion is downstairs with John.
Splash all over me. You deserve it after that performance. That's a really good field, and you just mopped them up. Give me the thoughts when you went into the race, how you were going to approach it and run it.
I wanted to go out more aggressive, but my coach told me to go for a different game plan just to secure the win. So I wanted to be more aggressive through the 4. I think it was like 59, but I was fine. He said have something left in the tank, and I came through the last 100 giving it all I got.
When you saw it, did you expect some of these other ladies to be with you at some point?
No. No, that was the plan, be as far as I can in front of everybody. The whole time.
We're in front of the home folks. Let's put on a show.
Yeah,
finally,
put on a show.
What it means to break what the record was, that's the new meet record, and it was the oldest running record on the books.
Wow, it means a lot. I just give all honor and glory to God. I just came here to win, but to break the meeting record as well, it's a blessing. I thank God for it, and in front of the home crowd. They're amazing.
And you got one more left for us when we go to Austin, Texas?
Oh, yes, sir. I got more in the tank.
Very good. Dwight, we'll watch that one in Austin, too, I'm sure, with great interest.
Let's go.
All right, John. Well, that's the first win at the event in 10 years when Natalia Gould won the title in 2013. 400 hurdles is next. Well, welcome back, everybody. We are with you from Bernie Moore Track Stadium in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, for more of our coverage of the 2023 SEC Outdoor Track and Field Championships. We had a 30-minute rain delay. The lightning has cleared. The athletes have been called back onto the track. The crowd has been called back into the stadium. And there are the records for the men's 400-meter hurdles final. Rai Benjamin, the silver medalist in Tokyo. Karan Clement, the Olympic champion in Rio. Looking at lane number 6, the junior from Georgia, Caleb Kavanaugh.
Well, such a useful 4x400 meter runner relay guy over the last couple of seasons, but he's really changed and become an outstanding 400 meter hurdler, working alongside sprint coach Devin West and Coach Carroll. He's been working on his stride pattern through 6 or 7. And this is an interesting development, and it happened late in the season. Aiden Owens-Delerme, the NCAA champ in the decathlon, has decided to run the 400 meters, and his first hurdle out, he ran about mid-50, and then he dropped under 50 seconds in the semifinals just 2 days ago. This is going to be a very tightly contested race. 4 of the top competitors are only separated by 0.2 of a second.
Kavanaugh in 6, Owens-Delerme in 7. And there is some wetness on the track, which can be a little bit disconcerting on the turns with these hurdles.
Aiden Owens-Delerme, good start for him out there in lane 7. In the decathlon, he is an outstanding hurdler, so he knows how to negotiate these hurdles that are just a little bit smaller.
But Kavanaugh is right there, as is Chris Robinson of Alabama, making a move in lane number 5. He's taken over the lead, running the hurdles very aggressively. Delerme is there. Robinson looks over at him, says, "What are you doing in my event?" That's number 9, and Delerme shows no letting up. They both hit 10 with a lot of momentum. It's going to be Aiden Owens Delerme winning the conference title in the 400 hurdles. Look at that time, 48:28. That breaks the meet record of Karan Clement, the Olympic champion, when he was at Florida back in 2005, and of course a collegiate leader. This guy has just gotten better and better and better in the shadow of Ashton Eaton, who did the same thing for an entire season between Olympic years in the 400 hurdles as well.
Well, he's just a cardio monster. He's a great 400-meter runner in the decathlon. You can see he's just a little bit bigger than the rest of the guys out there, but look at his composure. Look how he stays together, comes off the 10th hurdle, and literally just outguts Chris Robinson for this win. Chris Robinson did look over at him about 100 meters to go. It's just like, who's this guy out there going to keep me from winning the SEC title? Aiden Owens Delerme, such a fierce competitor. And I thought this was just, hey, he's going to feel out the 400-meter hurdles. But no, he and his coach, Doug Case, Travis Geffords, they said, this is for real. He is going for it, and he never does anything less than 100%.
Collegiate leader, number 4 time in the world this year, and he dragged Chris Robinson to a lifetime best as well. There are the final results. Aiden Owens Delerme takes almost another second off his lifetime best from Thursday in the qualifying. Robinson with a great personal best in second. Wow. Well, it's always great conditions right after the rain. Back with the women after this.
Metro offers MLS Season Pass.
On us.
Every match?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Says it on the poster.
Now at Metro, you can enjoy every soccer match with MLS Season Pass on us and unlimited 5G for $25.
We love our new home,
Great neighborhood, big backyard.
but the lamps. At least Geico makes bundling our home and car insurance easy.
We saved a lot.
For bundling made easy, go to geico.com.
Did you know that ticket prices can actually go down right before the game? That's where Game Time comes in. Game Time tracks ticket prices in real time from thousands of trusted sellers, then shows you all the best deals. So we can get tickets at the last minute for up to 60% off. Download Game Time now.
Trinity Thomas is the best in NCAA gymnastics, maybe even in the world.
Oh, did she drill that? Oh, my goodness.
Fantastic. There it is. Oh, my gosh.
Feels like a change is coming.
From last floor in to last team standing.
Ole Miss baseball national champions.
This was the 75th national champion in college baseball. I'm not.
Back in Baton Rouge, we just saw a spectacular performance by Aiden Owens Delerme, the decathlete who decided on the 400-meter hurdles, just won the conference title, and did some push-ups after he was done to show how he wasn't tired, and we got over to John Anderson.
And finally, someone who understands you can get just as famous in 48 seconds as you can in 2 days. I don't know, are you surprised in the least at that number when it pops up, 48:26?
I am. I'm surprised. I knew that I could go that fast, but you never know when it's going to come. It's my third 400-meter race all year. Sorry, not all year, my whole career. So right. I'm just new at the sport. So
how'd you choose to pick this one out? You're like, Coach, I want to help, and this is what, because That's a hard race to pick out.
Well, look, I'd already done the sweep last year, indoor heptathlon, outdoor decathlon national champion. And a lot of people are doubting, no, Aiden's not doing the decathlon, he's out. Well, I'm not out quite yet. So our 48-2 SEC champ is a pretty thing to be proud about.
That was totally me. I was that guy. What's he doing? He's crazy. He's not doing that. First, where in this race, at any point, like where do you find comfort in this that you're able to succeed?
Because I do all 10 events. At the end of the 2 days, I have to run a 15. I go 4:13. The pain that I feel outside of this event is enormous. And this event, like, I got to give props to the people who do it, of course, but the decathlon's no joke. And I came out here, ran the 400 hurdles, and it's one event, man. That's all I got to do, one event.
So we're going to let you enjoy this because Britton Wilson's going to run here.
She's about to break this.
And then you're going to be an also ran. But it's great for your 5 minutes of fame right here.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Dwight upstairs.
And a la Rocky, he gets down after that. Hey, the hurdles ain't no thing. I'll just throw in some push-ups too. Wow, third race of his life. Time now for the ladies to do the same thing. 400-meter hurdles collegiate record held by Sydney McLaughlin, the Olympic champion and several times world record holder. And this is a championship flashback from 5 years ago when she was a freshman, the only year she was in school at Kentucky. Meet was in Knoxville, Tennessee, and she went out after that collegiate record. We all knew she was going for it. You could see the gap to second place, and by no one's surprise, she set the still standing collegiate record, the collegiate record at the time, 52.75. She has since become Olympic champion, world champion, and several times world record holder. You can see the Kentucky resume of hurdlers. Jasmine Camacho Quinn, Olympic champion in the 100-meter hurdles in Tokyo. And Masai Russell, the collegiate record holder at 100-meter hurdles, her specialty, but she got third in that 100-meter hurdles race. That might give her some motivation here, Dan.
Well, but beating Britton Wilson in this race is going to be really a big stretch. Britton Wilson, she could be the next Sydney McLaughlin. I mean, she is just that good. We saw a fast time by Aiden Owens-Delarme. But nothing's beyond this young lady now. Already won national record today. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Masai Russell. It's her secondary event. She ran a really nice semifinal race, and she really ran within herself. Coach Lonnie Green said he liked the control that she had, and I think she's going to be able to open it up a little bit. We'll see if she can challenge Britton here.
Britton is probably looking at that 52.75 of Sydney McLaughlin as something that is completely doable. There are the lane assignments. The conditions when there's that much humidity and there's been weather in the area are ideal for this type of race. We saw it happen with Rai Benjamin and Michael Norman at the NCAA meet a few years ago. So it happened certainly to Aiden Owens-Delarme, and Britton Wilson had an extra 30 minutes of rest time after that collegiate record she ran in the 400 meters, her second collegiate record in as many days. So what does she have left for what I believe is the hardest event in the sport? Her lifetime best, 53.08, last year in making the U.S. team for the World Championships. There's Masai Russell inside of Wilson in lane 5. That'll no doubt help Masai Russell, having the best collegiate hurdler just outside of her. And she takes the first hurdle first, does Masai Russell. But inside of her, Shania Bellamy is going hard for LSU. She's actually in the lead.
Well, this is a race that Britton Wilson can't run by herself if she wants to try to break her record. She's going to need some other people in the race to pull her along, and then just to her outside, Vanessa Watson is going well from the University of Florida. Just as I say it, she blows by her.
And Shania Bellamy had to chop that 7th hurdle, so she lost her momentum. It is Wilson now with a big lead, with Watson and Russell in her jet stream. Now we watch the clock. Are we asking too much of this young lady? 53.28. She wins the title, defending successfully. But it's not even an improvement on her lifetime best. A big ask after running an incredible 400 meters collegiate record about an hour and a half ago. And she got that extra rest because of the rain delay, that she has to be satisfied with successfully defending both events and putting down an excellent time of 53.28.
Well, if you want to break a national record, your steps have to be absolutely perfect. And they just weren't perfect for Britton Wilson all the way around. She showed a little bit of fatigue in the last part of that 400 meters. But here you see her hurdling. She gets a little too close on these last couple of hurdles. She shifts to her non-dominant leg. And then here, even over the 10th, it's just like, oh, a little bit close. You want to create more space, have a bigger parabola as you get over that. But she does a nice job of coming off the 10th hurdle and running to the line. Not saying that she's tired, but it's been a long 3 days. She's definitely going to feel this.
It's about a half second less, and she has the collegiate record. That might happen at the NCAA championships in Austin. She wins easily over Masai Russell, who holds on for second. Vanessa Watson ends up third, and Britton Wilson is downstairs with John Anderson once again.
All right, two pieces of business, Dwight, here with Britton Wilson. We'll start with this particular race, 53:28. For most people, that's a fantastic run, lifetime best. It's on the, what's your board again? Your
Vision board.
On the Vision board. For you, it was a nice day at the office. What did you think of the race?
I thought it was okay. I had a few slip-ups on the backstretch, so definitely some things we got to take to practice and correct, but I felt pretty good about it.
Okay, now let's talk about the 400.
Yes.
Another record. Looked great. How did it feel?
It felt good. I mean, felt just like yesterday. You know, the track feels really good, so I definitely got some bigger goals that I want to accomplish, so I'm going to stay focused on my goals and just keep pushing, keep working.
In running that fast, where in those 400 meters do you find is the part that makes the race for you, that makes it really a good race or something you have to work on?
I think for me it's finishing. I always had a strong finish since high school, so I feel like that's kind of like my superpower when it comes to racing, but I definitely want to work on my front half and just set up the race better, and I think once all those come together, I'll be able to accomplish all my goals.
20 big points, Dwight, a couple of big wows from Britton Wilson, and she says she thinks she got enough teammates, she might be able to sit out the 4x4.
Well, she certainly has enough teammates that run the 400 at Arkansas, that's for certain. She successfully defends her double from 2022 and sets a collegiate record in the 400 meters. Wow.
Championships in Baton Rouge. Tell you about next week's featured baseball game right here on the SEC Network. You'll also find it on the ESPN app. Thursday night, number 5, Vandy hosting number 3, Arkansas, Hawkins Field in Nashville. Start of the final 3-game series of the regular season for both teams. They'll head to the NCAA tournament, obviously. Coverage begins 7 Eastern, 6 Central. Also have game 2 of the series. That's Friday night, 8 Eastern, 7 Central. Move it back an hour. Should be 2 great nights of SEC baseball because, like track and field, SEC, a power conference in baseball. Now, let's go upstairs to Dan, who is up top with the pole vaulters.
Well, the men's pole vault was contested amidst swirling winds. Clouds rolled in late here. There you see the meet record, national record, 19.8 1/4. Mondo Duplantis from LSU. This is Zach Davis, a senior from Texas A&M. He's certainly no stranger to SEC championship titles. He was third at the SEC Indoor Championships this year. That was his second attempt at 17.8 1/2. He would get over that for a personal best. This is Jack Mann III, just a freshman at Texas. Took a lot of jumps today. His first attempt, he's over 17.8 1/2. He was third at the SEC Indoors Championship, 5th at the Mount Sac Relays this year. This is Keaton Daniel, your defending champion. He won the SEC Indoor title. He won last year's Outdoor title, and he would add another title to his resume. The junior from Kentucky, first attempt over 18.6 1/2. And there you see his coach behind him. So congratulations to Keaton Daniel of Kentucky and Coach Chris Grimes.
All right, we are back on the track. There are the men's standings with 18 events in the book, and it's a runaway once again for Arkansas. 51-point lead over LSU, and then A&M is 15 behind in third. Next on the track, the men's 200-meter final. Walter Dix still holding the collegiate record back in 2007. Terrence Laird has the meet record from 2 years ago. This is a highly anticipated matchup, as are many here at the SEC Conference meet. Javante Harding, the junior from Tennessee, will start in lane number 6.
Well, he goes 2012 in the semis, and they're running the same direction that they did go in the semis, but after a rough indoor season, he seems to have righted the ship. And I asked Coach Dwayne Ross, I said, what do you say to Javante before? They said, man, you don't say anything. When Javante's running well, you don't need to say anything. But there you see he's got the sunglasses here at night. This is a young man that I've been excited to see in this outdoors season. Tarsus Oragot ran really well indoors, a special athlete, and his coach Blaine Wiley said, this guy doesn't blow you away in practice, but he shows up on meet day and gets it done. But they've really worked on his strength over the last season. Did never run indoors until this season, and he comes to outdoors. He has all the makeups, everything he needs. Good speed. He's got great size, great turnover to be a great 200-meter runner. Wouldn't be a surprise to see him dip under 20 seconds tonight.
He ran a windy 1960 at the Tom Jones meet, which is the second fastest all conditions performance in collegiate history. A lot of upside potential. He looked just effortless in the semifinals. So Harding, the junior from Tennessee, in 6. Oragot in 7. I'd say the advantage from a lane draw perspective is for Harding to have Oragot lead him out. Also Matthew Bowling out on the outside. He's run 1992. And down on the inside, Dorian Kamel. He's run 20 flat. Kennedy Leitner's a scratch in lane number 8. And it's Javante Harding who is running well through the curve along with Matt Bowling. But Oragot is a great second half 200-meter runner, and here he comes. But he's having a tough time catching up. And inside, here comes Robert Gregory of Florida. And I think he got him. Robert Gregory in lane 5, keying off of Javante Harding. And it may be the white uniform. No, it is Robert Gregory, 2012. He outleans Javante Harding, beats him by 0.02 of a second with a lifetime best. And Oragot fades to 3rd in 2034. The wind was well under the allowable. But that's what happens when you sort of don't pay attention to everybody.
Well, you break this 200-meter race up into different phases, and everybody's going to run it a little bit differently. You say Javante Harding, he really went out hard, held on in the last 100 meters, but Robert Gregory slowly just drew him in, and I'm sure Mike Holloway is going to let us have it for not setting up those Florida Gators at the start of some of these races and them coming away with victory. But Robert Gregory was somebody who we identified in the semifinals as somebody who would have a really good chance to win this. He was on the outside during that race, and he looked quite impressive. So not a surprise, but he had a 2013 windy time, and he comes away with a 20.12 today with a legal time.
1st and 4th for the Gators. They scored 13 in the event, but a bit of an upset, and Oragot really just didn't have it. That last 50 meters, that's where I expected him to explode, and it just didn't happen. When we come back to Baton Rouge, it'll be the ladies in the 200.
Metro offers MLS Season Pass.
On us.
Every match?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Says it on the poster.
Now at Metro, you can enjoy every soccer match with MLS Season Pass on us and unlimited 5G for $25.
The Sonic Scrubber by Black Wolf. 6,000 RPMs of charcoal-infused silicone cleaning power when you shower.
It feels like a massage.
The silicone bristles are gentle on my face. And with the handle, I can reach my back, my legs. I can even use it on my toes.
It's got a 3-hour USB charge.
I love a long shower.
There are 4 different vibration modes to clean and exfoliate everywhere.
The Sonic Scrubber by Black Wolf. Get 20% off now at GetSonicScrubber.com.
Some things are better left to a professional.
In hindsight, probably shouldn't have tried to remove my own appendix.
Like when it comes to finding financial advisors.
What was I thinking?
So leave it to Smart Asset to find them for you. Take the free quiz at smartasset.com. Then you'll be matched with up to 3 vetted fiduciary financial advisors. To get started, take the Advisor Match Quiz now at smartasset.com.
I was this close. This close.
Hi, I'm Jeff from Nuts.com. When my grandfather started this business in 1929, he relied on 4 important values: freshness, quality, variety, and service. I'm proud to carry on his legacy, but from a bigger space. We still freshly roast, season, and dip delicious nuts here in New Jersey and deliver them with the freshest dried fruits, snacks, and sweets to families that love our...
For Dylan Jacobs, his first track season as a member of the Volunteers. Patrick Kiprop has the fifth fastest, 10K this season. Low 28:00.58.
I count 6 Arkansas Razorbacks amongst this field of 57. Not sure if all 57 are towing the line, but there are the lane assignments.
On your mark.
Or the list of competitors is probably a better way to refer to it. They'll stay in those separate groups through the first turn.
I mentioned Patrick Kiprop having some help from his teammates of Arkansas. Dylan Jacobs will also have teammate Yassine Abdallah in there. Abdallah in the middle of the track there. The bright orange is pretty easy to spot, but Abdallah, after finishing second in the 10K, has been given the instruction to help Dylan Jacobs, but Jacobs is going all on his own, going on the outside, settling in behind Kiprop. Right up front for the University of Arkansas looks to be Jack Williams.
I count 7 volunteers from Tennessee in this race. From a standpoint of conditions, it is currently 81 degrees and 72% humidity, which is not ideal conditions for fast 5,000 meter times, but there are a lot of very good athletes, some that are completely fresh, and there's a lot of incentive here because of the issue with NCAA qualifying times.
Worth noting that with the qualifying times and athletes getting into championship season, getting into the postseason, part of the reason that they haven't gotten those marks yet is because coaches were incredibly strategic in balancing the fact that athletes might have 3 straight 10K, 5K doubles if they were to race it at the conference championships, then do it again at the NCAA qualifying meet, and then again at the NCAA championships in Austin, and most of those in very hot climates, with the NCAA regional meets being in North Florida and in Sacramento. So it's just an impossible toll to put on the body, and those that did the heavy workload at last year's SEC championships admitted that it took a toll on their NCAA performance hopes. You can see things have really stretched out, and that is Patrick Kiprop, who is currently sitting comfortably in 3rd position. Carl Thiessen of Tennessee is up there in front to make sure the pace stays honest to accomplish what they want for Dylan Jacobs.
And you can tell right away the way this pack has strung out. 67 and 66 second laps to start out this 5K, that this is an honest pace.
With that pack of orange up front, Coach Carlson happy with the positioning of where his team is and the development of the distance squad in Knoxville, and said that in all the time that he's been coaching Dylan Jacobs, this is the best and hardest he has ever trained, more fit than he has ever been, wants to win every single race he is in, and that is a scary thing for everyone else across the NCAA and across the SEC. If Dylan Jacobs, who's the reigning NCAA champion indoors in the 5K and then outdoors in the 10K, is even better as they are approaching these next few weeks of championship contention. The guys up front doing a really nice job of keeping this pace pretty aggressive. You can see Thiessen clocking off on his watch to note exactly the pace he is on. That last lap was 65, so they have kicked it up a bit, and Patrick Kiprop is very comfortable. They're currently on 13:45 pace, and it's a right around 13:50 entering the weekend that would get you a spot into the preliminary race. Abdallah gives a little nod there to his teammate Dylan Jacobs, just tapped him on the shoulder as they come down with 9 laps to go. And Abdallah is going to push the pace. He's going to challenge Thiessen. Actually, he's going to a little bit of a trade-off there. They trade off. Thiessen steps off, and now it's Abdallah's turn to take the lead, and Kiprop is right there up front, breaking up the volunteer presence. Chris Bucknam said that Kiprop is really hungry to race. He kind of feels like he's gotten overlooked in this event and needs that good, hard effort. They're saving his legs for the NCAAs and really playing the long game, looking ahead to contending for the 10K title at the NCAA championships, but really making sure that he gets out here at SECs and has an opportunity to try to defend his title and also showcase the leg speed he has at 5,000 meters.
That's a little bit more like a Diamond League meet where you've got multiple rabbits pacing the race. Abdallah, Kiprop, and Jacobs have separated themselves by about 15 meters from the rest of the pack.
That's thanks to a last 400 of 65 second through 1600 at 4:23.
All right, with 8 laps remaining and the pace well established and the top 3 well established, we will step aside for a few moments. Back with more coverage of this 5,000 meter final.
Metro offers MLS season pass.
On us.
Every match?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Says it on the poster.
Now at Metro, you can enjoy every soccer match with MLS Season Pass on us and unlimited 5G for $25.
This was the 75th national champion in college baseball. I'm not sure if there was a better story.
For the first time in program history.
Trinity Thomas is the best in NCAA gymnastics, maybe even in the world.
Oh, did she drill that? Oh, my goodness.
Fantastic. There it is. Oh, my gosh.
Feels like a change is coming.
Emeril Lagasse here, and I'm so excited to tell you about my French door Air Fryer 360. Extra large 26 quart capacity. Cook with up to 70% less calories from fat than deep frying. That's a big deal, my friend. 360 degrees of superheated air gives you fast, even cooking. My 10-in-1 French door Air Fryer 360s grills, air fries, dehydrates, roasts, bakes, broils, proofs, slow cooks, and toasts. This baby does it all. These French doors are a game changer. Look at how easy that is.
Now find out how you can try Emeril Lagasse's French Door Air Fryer 360 with 3 cooking tiers, fetch tool, air frying rack, and drip tray in your home for 30 days for just $14.99. Order now and you'll also get Emeril's Air Fryer Favorites recipe book. And we'll automatically upgrade you to our bonus cooking kit free. Plus, find out how you can get free shipping. This offer will not last, so call or click now to order.
You're gonna love it, I guarantee it.
We are back in Baton Rouge, the middle of the men's 5,000 meter final, and these 3 athletes have separated themselves from the field. Yassin Abdallah of Tennessee really running rabbit for his teammate Dylan Jacobs, who is currently in 3rd place, with the defending champion Patrick Kiprop of Arkansas in between them. They're more than 100 meters ahead of the rest of the field.
The last few laps have been 63 and 64. Abdallah is doing a great job up there of pushing that pace. Those two, Abdallah and Jacobs, work incredibly well together, have a great competitive dynamic. They're really good friends. Dylan's the bit more conservative in terms of how they train and how they race. Yassin's been a bit more aggressive, likes to push things. You see he steps off the track and gives a clap and instruction to his teammate. It's in Dylan Jacobs' hands from here with a 65-second last 400. It is the two you expected to see battling up top as they are 8:08 through 3,000 meters. Kiprop and Jacobs, they're on 13:33 pace, so that meet record, Dwight, is in jeopardy. Now they're going to have to work together.
A 20-year-old meet record by very good athlete Alistair Craig of Arkansas and Ireland. Ran it in 2003, 13:41.04. So that is a worthwhile goal for both of these athletes to reach. But Kiprop is the defending champion, and Dylan Jacobs would like nothing better than to just sit on him right here and show that blistering kick the last lap of this 5K.
Both athletes expected to be factors in the 10,000, but you want to have those options of racing the 5K as well, showcasing a bit of some speed in their legs from both of these athletes. It's going to be fun to see them duke it out on the NCAA championship stage, potentially in both events. That slowed down significantly to 70 seconds now, as those athletes are now comfortably separated 1 and 2 at this point in the race. 13:40 now the pace, but you expect as they start to close in that final 400, Dylan Jacobs has that incredible closing speed that we saw showcased indoors in the distance medley relay at the SEC championships. He anchored Tennessee to a victory there, and yeah, this looks like they are just trotting along at this point. Seems like they almost have a gentleman's agreement right now. Okay, we're where we are. We know what the pace is. We know what we've got to get done. So in terms of the time standpoint, they are well on pace for where they need to be. Now Chellingot, but she always tends to find something extra in the tank.
A lot of traffic to navigate now. And Chellingot is just not responding at this point. We're coming up to the bell lap. And Parker Valby still looking full of run. This has got to be very encouraging for her and her coaches that she has come back this strongly.
71-1 for that last 400. And Parker Valby has created a healthy distance between herself and Olamoy.
The gap continues to grow. It's about 15 meters. Mercy Chellingot trying to gather herself for something, but Valby does not look like she's slowing down, and that gap has gotten pretty large.
Fight Parker! She is doing a great job of using all of that upper body to get every ounce that she needs out of that turnover.
I don't think the two Alabama runners are finished yet. Parker Valby with less than 100 meters to go. Hilda Olamoy. Mercy Chellingot. It's over. Valby is going to win this thing. Oh, wait a minute. Oh my gosh. No, she changes gears and just holds off Mercy Chellingot at the end. What a great performance by Parker Valby. And she did most of the last 2/3 of the race from in front, 68.9 last 400 meters. I thought I was going to have another Kendall Ellis moment. 2:20 for the last 800 meters. But now it comes down to how many Arkansas runners are scoring. Not too far from the end of the race. They were in 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th position. That's 14 points. They don't need that much to put it away.
Heidi Nielsen coming back from running a great 1,500 earlier. Sydney Thorvaldsen coming back from that 10K. And we are seeing a big push there.
Just 0.04 of a second separating Parker Valby from Mercy Chellingot at the finish line. Chellingot was going to win the event for the 3rd time. She's a senior at Alabama, and she just left it a little too late.
Parker Valby now improves to the 4th best performance in the NCAA this outdoor season. That aggressive early pace threw down a big kick in the final 400 meters and times it out absolutely perfectly. Mercy Chellingot didn't kick early enough to catch Parker Valby. Valby is clinging on, grimacing through the finish. It looked like she even took a glance up at the video board to quickly gauge how much distance she had as Mercy Chellingot was charging. A huge victory for Parker Valby. After winning the SEC cross-country title, she's now the SEC 5K outdoor champion.
Well, by winning, Florida scores 10 points, but by finishing 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, Arkansas also scores 10 points, so it is over. They had a 16-point lead coming in. They cannot be headed. Arkansas is the women's conference champion again.
I'm at the swing joint telling people that Geico has been offering savings for over 85 years. That's longer than the Buffalo Wing's been around.
Dozen wings.
And did you know that Geico offers motorcycle insurance? Oh, my lips are burning. No, my lips are actually burning.
Geico. Over 85 years of savings and service. See how much you could save at geico.com.
It's too hot. This is too hot, mate.
Metro offers MLS Season Pass.
On us.
Every match?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Says it on the poster.
Now at Metro, you can enjoy every soccer match with MLS Season Pass on us and unlimited 5G for $25.
I need gas money, but I don't get paid till next week. What should I do?
Download the Earnin app to get paid early. Get up to $100 per day. No interest or credit check. Duh.
Download Earnin.
92% of households that kick off the year with Peloton are still active a year later? Yeah, actively using it as a coat rack.
Congrats on 50 rides!
Okay, but it's still just a fad. Just an elitist fitness cult.
Come on, guys. I know this isn't easy, but we got this.
You'll give up eventually.
Seriously? 92%.
92% stick with it. So can you. Get $400 off Peloton packages. Terms apply.
This was the 75th national champion in college baseball. I'm not sure if there was a better story.
For the first time in program history, Ole Miss baseball national champions.
Don't let the Rebs get hot.
Don't let the Rebs get hot.
I think they let the Rebs get hot,
baby. Back here at the 2023 SEC Outdoor Championships. Event number 20 of 21 just finished is women's 5,000 meters, and the champion is here with me, Parker Valby, who we have not seen for some time. So let's start with just what's the injury and how did we finally come back to get into this race?
We actually don't really have a diagnosis of the injury yet. It's been like 3 or 4 months now. But we've found like little injuries that are like cause of. I've seen so many doctors, but basically, yeah, we don't have a diagnosis. It's a lot to unpack. Too short of a video for that.
Okay, so how is it though that you decided it was time to come back and run, even though we're uncertain of what our health is?
Yeah, definitely very uncertain. I've done one track workout since February, so I had no idea if my leg was going to hold up or not. It's my first time wearing spikes since I think cross country. Not my one indoor race I wore spikes. Didn't go too hot. But basically. Yeah, I didn't know what to expect. I knew that my team needed me, so I'm glad that I could push myself to score those points for my team, and yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about the race. Obviously, you're familiar with Hilda and running against Mercy and how you decided to approach this with so many unknowns.
Yeah, I mean, I knew that they didn't have the mark for regionals yet, so I knew that they weren't going to, like, sit and kick. But actually, in the beginning, Mercy took it out, but I got boxed in by, like, 20 people. And I was just like, don't freak out. You have a long time to go. And so once I dealt with that, it was like a lap in. I finally got out, and it was like 76 or 78 or something like that. And I was like, oh, okay.
Terrible.
No.
You can't be a part of
that.
No,
I was like, no, absolutely not. And so I was like, I'm done getting trips. Then I went to the front, and it worked. She was really close, though.
That margin is closer than the 100 meters in the men's.
No, that was scary close, but I'm glad I leaned. I was like a sprinter.
Very good. Real quick, what's with on the left leg thing right here?
Starting a new trend. One compression sock, some tape on the back of the knee. I mean, it worked, so.
Right, we'll see. At some point, I'm sure little girls everywhere will be out looking like that. They'll be great.
Wear your compression socks.
There you go. Parker Valby, upstairs, right?
Thank you.
All right, John, just to reiterate, with that 5th through 8th finish of Arkansas, they clinch the women's team title. They have a 16-point lead going into an event where the maximum you can score is 10. There are the men's team standings going into the 4x400 relay. The Arkansas men clinched a long time ago. That's a 64-point bulge over Tennessee. Tennessee did come all the way up to second place, however, as predicted. All right, first of 2 sections of the men's 4x400 relay. Collegiate record is held by Florida, along with the meet record. We've had a couple of scratches in Section 1. South Carolina has scratched. Auburn has been moved into second section. So just Ole Miss and Missouri in the Section 1 race. Again, points determined on time. So it is possible for teams from the first section, usually the lower seeded teams, the ones with the slower season best. But it is possible for them to run fast enough to score. There is Ole Miss. Cade Flatt, the freshman, will lead off for the Runnin' Rebels. And for Missouri, Jacob Brunsman, the junior, will do leadoff duties for the Tigers.
Well, no seed time for the Missouri Tigers. They don't show up on the SEC form chart here, but Ole Miss has run 3:12.51. They did that early part of April. Be interesting. Tiernan Corkin is scheduled to run the second leg.
Coming back off that great 800 that we saw earlier, but certainly has the speed, and the Marcus Dropic as well. So a few of the middle distance specialists of Ole Miss, that's kind of usually a bit of their bread and butter to have a deep field of middle distance runners. Cade Flatt certainly among that group. So going to see some of those 800 and 1500 guys drop down, mix it up a little bit in a 4x4, test out their sprinter legs.
And this is sometimes what you see at just, like a dual meet or a meet that was not a big invitational. Teams will enter multiple 4x4 teams at the end of a meet, and a lot of times those 800-meter runners like to get together and put those 4x4s on paper.
Missouri ran 3:13.87 indoors, and that's the only time listed for them for this year. Ole Miss in 6, Missouri in 7. There are 13 men's teams in the SEC, 14 women's teams, so not enough lanes on the track to handle just one race. Only 9 lanes on the track. So they use the international stagger for the 4x400 relay. First runners all the way in lanes, and then when they pass the baton, the outgoing runner remains in their lane through the first turn and then cuts to the pole on the backstretch.
And if you're a 400-meter hurdler or you're an 800-meter runner, running this 400 meters just feels great. You know you don't have to run another lap. You know you don't have to go over barriers. You can really open up your stride and go. There you see Cade Flatt just really opening it up, and he'll pass to Tiernan Corkin.
48.5 opening leg for Cade Flatt. Now they can break for the pole. For Missouri, that's Jason Ashford, who takes the lead now early on. But did he run too hard the first 200 meters to make up that gap?
You see that distance runner out in front of you, say, man, I'm going to beat this guy in a sprint. I'm going to go by him. I'm going to fly by him. But 800-meter strength sometimes come back and get you at the end.
So Missouri in the lead. Passing for the second time from Ashford to Christopher Conrad. And for the Runnin' Rebels, it'll be Corkin to Marcus Dropic. 48 flat for Jason Ashford.
Well, while the wind was swirling today, it has just settled into a beautiful evening. Hardly any wind at all, and I think we're going to see some really fast times in these heats with full team lineups.
But for the Lightning that was within 8 miles and a 30-minute delay, this would have been a very well, perfectly timed meet. Final exchange, and Ole Miss closing the gap over Missouri rather nicely. For the Tigers, Zachary Charles on anchor, and for the Runnin' Rebels, Jacob Loff. Another 48-second carry for Missouri. So we're looking for something in the 3:12 neighborhood probably for Missouri. Ole Miss into the lead with the final 100 meters being run. They will establish the time to beat for Section 2. 3:13.93, almost 3:14.
We saw Jacob Luff there with about 150 meters to go. He came up around the outside, and I'm sure somewhere in the back of his mind he's saying, Coach told me not to pass on the outside in the turn, get him on the straight, but he had the energy and blew right by him with decisiveness and brings Ole Miss Running Rebs home for the victory.
Ole Miss 3:13.94, Missouri 3:16. That's about averaging 49.3 per man for Missouri. All right, getting ready now for Section 2, where we have 8 teams total because Arkansas is a scratch. They've won the team title by 1,000,000 points, so no reason to put their 400-meter runners through this. They've got lots to do over the next month with regionals in 2 weeks and the NCAA championships in less than 4 weeks. There's Elijah Godwin, who will run the leadoff for the Georgia Bulldogs. They will start in lane number 6. They're the collegiate leader. They ran 2:58.82 at the Texas Relays. A lot of that off their indoor fitness. But that included a 44.80 split by half-miler Will Sumner.
Well, there you see he's given the baton, and he's got a tape measure there, and he is measuring the distance from the front of the blocks all the way to the back. These athletes want to get their blocks set absolutely perfectly in the way they set them up each and every day, and the best way to do that is with a measuring tape. And so many young athletes out there want to measure it with their foot or their hand. The best way to do it is to get yourself a little sewing measuring strip, and then that way you can even put your own marks. You can line the distance, so he goes to distance from the start line where he puts his hands to the front of the blocks, and then he can measure the distance to each foot. There you see he's measuring now to that first foot. That way he can get it super close every time.
This process might take longer than the entire relay itself. With how many steps there just were to measure that out. And Dwight, you mentioned Will Sumner. He said after his 800 victory he expected to be back, and he is down there on the track, likely slated to run that anchor leg and prove to you that he's, not just a half miler.
Alabama will be outside of Georgia in lane 7. They've run 2:59.15 in that same race at the Texas Relays. That was setting their school record. So now a lot of schools under 3 minutes. It used to be a real rarity. There are the lane assignments. Auburn was moved into this Section 2 race, so that makes it a 9-team race, all lanes filled. Elijah Godwin has an Olympic bronze medal from running the preliminaries of the mixed 4x400 meter relay, the first time it was ever run at the Olympic Games. It's about time. Been running at the World Relay Championships for a while now. He was second in the Open 400 earlier this evening.
Well, and down in lane 3, LSU, that's Dorian Kamel who goes first for the LSU Tigers. Big work day for him, and then Sean Burrell, and they'll close with Ashton Hicks. But I think everybody expects to see a really good race between Georgia and Alabama, but don't count out the Gators.
Never in a 4x4. All right, same situation as in Section 1. It's an Olympic stagger. Outgoing runners, leadoff runners, all the way in lanes, pass the baton. Outgoing runner stays in their same lane all through the first turn, and then breaks for the pole on the back stretch.
Well, for Tennessee, you're going to see 3 400-meter hurdlers, and then Emmanuel Bynum, who we saw run really well in the 400-meter open. And Dwayne Ross says, hey, if you're going to build your team around an event group, I'm going to make it the hurdles because that's an event that he was extremely good at. There you see Alabama running well on the outside.
Alabama with the early lead. You can see who passes the baton first. And it is Alabama, followed by Georgia. A&M on the outside. Matt Bowling for Georgia on the second leg. And he's taking it out hard. Bowling getting the pole for the Bulldogs. Followed closely by Alabama. 45-3 for Godwin. 44-6. The opener for Chris Robinson.
Well, there you see Matthew Bowling up front. A lot of people have said he just hasn't run the fastest times in the 100 or the 200, but he's really been concentrating on his 400s. And when you run a 43-second leg in the 4x400 meters, something's got to give. Sometimes maybe you're not going to run a 10 flat or a 19-second 200. He's been running outstanding 400-meter runs this year.
Will Sumner for the Bulldogs on the third leg. And for Alabama, Tarsus Oregot. Oregot a little disappointing in the 200 meters, just didn't have it the last 50 meters. Let's see, and that is not Will Sumner, my mistake. Christopher Morales. Sumner is going to anchor for the Bulldogs.
So Emmanuel Bamidele, he goes 44-8 to keep the Florida Gators in here. And this is Ja'Cory Patterson. Look at him make a move now in the white uniform. But Tarsus Oregot, he has run a 43 flat on a 4x400 meter leg this season for Alabama.
Oregot with a great third leg carry. Florida also right there with Ja'Cory Patterson. Here comes Will Sumner on the anchor, just like he did at Texas Relays. He dropped a 44-8 anchor. But the Bulldogs are back in third. And who's on the anchor for Florida? Ryan Willey, the winner of the 400. As predicted by this guy.
So 43-8 for Ja'Cory Patterson on that carry for the Florida Gators. And here comes Ryan Willey.
Corday Long trying to hold off Ryan Willey. Will Sumner is well back for Georgia. And Willey goes out into lane 2. And he's just look at how much more smoothly and how much the frequency of his foot contacts are. He brings the Gators home for the SEC Conference and a new collegiate record under 258, 257.76.
Wow! A 43-7 for Ryan Willey on that last baton carry. 43-7.
Tom Lewis is now saying 43-3. I don't even know what to say.
I think it's great to be a Florida Gator.
Well, that's what most of the people in the stands are saying. Do we have 3 teams under 3 minutes?
Well, look at Ryan Willey. He just moves out into lane 2, and look how smooth he is. Look, no, his head is not moving around. His shoulders are staying very still. He's just picking them up and putting them down. Crosses the finish line, and that is how you run a 400 meters. He's just absolutely perfect in this relay.
Alabama, another school record, 258.01. They just missed going under 258. Georgia in third with 259.63. First time in history, 3 collegiate teams under 3 minutes. That's amazing. And Kentucky fourth at 3:02. I can't even do the math on what that is an average per man, but it is better than 44.5 average. That's what I have to say. John Anderson, I don't know if the electricity was down there like it is up here, but wow, what an amazing race.
Yeah, it's kind of goosebump electricity down here for sure. We're going to start with John Powell just because he ran first. So he's the least winded of the Gators here. A new collegiate record. Congratulations. I don't know what Coach Holloway is going to say, but what do you say about 257 and change?
My training partners, they're really great. I had to just do my job and give it to them, and I was positive they were going to finish it off. And I know Coach Holloway has the team. He told us every day we're good enough to break the record, and that's what we came all here and did.
Okay. Everybody else, Emmanuel, he's down and out right now, so we're just going to let him have his piece. Ryan Willey is still trying to recover from that last leg, 43-3. So you're my man, Ja'Cory. What do you got for me on your performance and the team's performance?
Hey, man, just wanted to get a stick around the track, put my teammates in the best position possible to bring home the dub, man. That's it.
I had this question because The team race is over, but I watched over here, and your teammates, these people were going cuckoo birds. What's it mean to hear them?
Couldn't do it without them, man. Gator Nation. It's a team thing, man. We all in this together, so I appreciate them for this.
It's a whole team thing, but I'm just going to get you the wide shot of the 4 guys that took care of business. 257, the new collegiate record in the 4x4.
So, John, I've done the math. It's 44-44 per man. But that man, Ryan Willey, the 400-meter champion, he ran 43-3. Amazing. Women are next.
92% of households that kick off the year with Peloton are still active a year later? Yeah, actively using it as a coat rack.
Congrats on 50 rides!
Okay, but it's still just a fad. Just an elitist fitness cult.
Come on, guys. I know this isn't easy, but we got this.
You'll give up eventually.
Seriously? 92%.
92% stick with it. So can you. Get $400 off Peloton packages. Terms apply.
I just want to know one thing. Where you at?
Trinity Thomas is the best in NCAA gymnastics, maybe even in the world.
Oh, did she drill that? My goodness.
Fantastic. There it is. Oh, my gosh.
Feels like a change is coming.
Uh-huh. No, I can find someone. They love extra projects. We need promotional products.
I'm on it.
Exclusive apparel, bags, high-tech items, and more. 4imprint takes the stress out of getting exactly what you need with the certainty that you'll get your promotional products on time and on budget. Make your go-to choice 4imprint.com.
You can come out now. I'm on it.
4imprint, for certain.
Since the dawn of man, getting help has been hard. Whether it's for ED, hair loss, or your mental health. Through HIMSS, getting help is simple. It all starts with one small click for you. And you. And you. That can change everything for future you. That's healthcare, as it should be. Click now, thank yourself later. Get started at 4hims.com.
Back in Baton Rouge, here are the women's team standings with one event remaining, and Arkansas has clinched because they have a 17-point lead and can only score 10 points. They are the same. They were set last year by a team from Kentucky. On paper, Arkansas with the best time coming in. They will be in Section 2. This is Section 1, featuring 3 teams. Mississippi State is a scratch. Alabama in 6, Vanderbilt in 7, Ole Miss in 8 is the way I have it, but that's not the way they have it there on the graphic. Five, 6, 7. Ole Miss, Alabama, Vanderbilt. Again, it's a timed final. So the teams from Section 1 can run fast enough to score overall, though the seeded teams are in the second section. A very late start for Alabama. Obi Amarachukwu did not react to the gun, and now she's in her full run.
Well, a little adjustment here in the 4x400 meter relay. The first time you ever get in the blocks and you lead off in a 4x400 meters, it seems like it is such a long ways to that person to your outside because of that international 3-turn stagger, and you just have to be patient. You just have to take your time as you begin to make up that stagger and make a move on the person to your outside. So definitely an adjustment for some of these athletes. We talk about some of these athletes in the they run 800. rarely ever do they get into the blocks.
And very rarely do they get a baton in your hand unless you're running a DMR indoors.
Vanderbilt passing first, but Alabama making a major move. That's Natasha Ballard trying to race her team back into contention. 54.5 the leadoff time for Obi, the junior from Alabama. Vanderbilt, though, still in the lead.
Well, Taya Shelby, she's an outstanding 800-meter runner. She's run 2:03, and she's run 52 seconds in the under 52 seconds in the 400 meters. There you see Mackenzie Long with the relay duties at the end of this meet. She looked like she just kind of went into a quick jog. Thought we were going to see her really bear down and run a great 400 meters, but looks like she's just
phoning it in.
Yep, phoning it in here.
The 200-meter champion from earlier. So Vanderbilt continuing to lead, 51 seconds for their second runner, Taya Shelby. It's 54.5 for Olivia McBride, the freshman on leadoff. And now Alabama into the lead.
Ooh. So I get a little trip up there as she made her move into the rail. So now Vanderbilt's going to swing back to the outside to try to get around after getting caught up on that big move from Alabama.
Kyra Brown responds, comes back into the lead. Milan Fields second for Alabama. And it's Jada Eckford for Ole Miss. Final exchange, and the Commodores have a nice lead going into this final exchange, 20 meters. Brooke Overholt, the senior, will get the baton. For Alabama, it will be Margaret Conch. Check that, Margaret Conte. 54 seconds for Kyra Brown for Vanderbilt. And for Ole Miss, Olivia Womack.
Well, what's interesting at Vanderbilt as well, they really got a big reputation in the 80s and the 90s, even up till now, as being a distance-oriented school. Althea Thomas was an assistant under Petros Kyprianou in Georgia. She took over the head position, and she's tried to bring in more sprinters, tried to bring in more hurdlers. She got a win out of Beatrice Justabashute and another win in the high jump. So, Vanderbilt is a little bit different looking team than they've looked in the past.
Vanderbilt is going to win the first section, establish the time to beat. .332.29. It's almost a 3-second improvement on their season best. 52.2 on the anchor for Brooke Overholt.
Number 2, South Carolina.
Alabama second, Ole Miss third. That is a school record for the Commodores. In case you don't have a chance to mention it, in this meet we have had 5 collegiate records in 4 events and 10 meet records in 9 events. So we get ready now for section 2 of the women's 4x400 meter relay. Again, Kentucky with the collegiate and meet record, 3:21.93. Arkansas ran 3:21.75 indoors, which is faster when they have to go twice as many times around the track. Arkansas has a boatload of 400 meter runners. It may have been a lottery to see who was going to be the 4 athletes to run this race. It's Paris Peoples who will do the leadoff duties. And I'm thinking they may give Britton Wilson a rest.
Well, they certainly will, and for good reason. They've got the championship under their belt. She had 4 really good runs here at these championships. Aaliyah Pyatt will go second for the Arkansas Razorbacks. Joanna Reed, and then Amber Anning, who we saw in the 400-meter preliminaries, will run anchor duties. Keep your eye on Texas A&M. They've run quick this season as well, 3:25. Tierra Robinson-Jones will go second for them, and Jermaisha Arnold, she'll anchor for the Aggies.
Full complement of teams. All 9 lanes will be filled. Again, On the women's side, there are 14 teams in the SEC in track and field, 13 for the men, as Vanderbilt does not have a men's team.
And I'm noticing out there in lane 8 for the Florida team, I don't see Talitha Diggs.
No, she is not listed. Final event of the 2023 SEC Outdoor Track and Field Championships, and it has been a great one.
Look at this Tennessee team as well. I see Jacia Sears. She's listed to run the third leg for the Volunteers. She's had a big weekend. Won the 100 meters, led the 200 meters to the last 5 meters of that race. And she ran a 4x1, so 1-2, 4x1, 4x4, so big weekend for her.
She won the 100 meters earlier. Almost did the double. So I'm not sure what the holdup is here, but they seem to be getting ready to get them in their blocks.
Well, I saw some people streaming out of here when we had that lightning delay, but the stands, I think, at this point are probably fuller than I've seen them all afternoon. A lot of people sticking around to the end of this.
There might be some issues with the timing system. They've had them stand up.
I gotta say, Lara, this is the fun part of track and field that I certainly remember and will take away from my time in collegiate track and field is the team gathering at the end of the meet, all cheering on this 4x4, and you wanted to be a member of that team. And you know, whether you finished first or fifth, you ran hard in the 400, and you just felt like you gave more than just the 3 guys or 3 individuals you ran with. You gave your whole team a great effort out there.
It's great to see the whole meet culminate in a great 4x4.
That's what I love about track and field. At the high school and collegiate level, it is a team sport. It's a bunch of individual efforts, but the team is a very real thing, and I really missed that part once I left college. I had a club where we tried to create that atmosphere as much as possible, but it was more of a Lord of the Flies type team situation. All right, from the inside, it's South Carolina, Auburn, and LSU, then Tennessee, Kentucky, and Arkansas, and then on the outside, Texas A&M, Florida, and Georgia. And Georgia moving nicely out in lane number 9, as is Kentucky in lane 5. But it's always pretty deceiving until you see the first baton exchange. It's going to be Kentucky, then Georgia. A&M is also there, but it is clearly Kentucky that is going to be able to break for the pole first. Megan Moss for the Wildcats.
Well, it was Karima Davis for the Wildcats on the first leg, and here we see somebody with a ton of relay experience for Texas A&M. This is Tiara Robinson-Jones, the tall figure on the outside, trying to make a move out, clear out in lane 3.
It's very crowded up there in front, including Arkansas. That is Aaliyah Pyatt for the Razorbacks, and here comes Tiara Robinson-Jones. That strength kicking in, and she puts the Aggies in front for the second exchange, followed by Kentucky, then Arkansas, closely followed by Tennessee. Now hopefully these incoming runners get off the track and out of the way.
51-2 for Tiara Robinson-Jones. So a nice carry for the second. The senior will pass to the freshman, Jallo.
A&M, Tennessee, Arkansas, Kentucky. And for A&M, this is Sunny Jallo. Arkansas, it's Joanne Reed. For Tennessee, Jacia Sears. And for Kentucky, Tamila Fuller. A&M will pass first to the anchor. And now Arkansas into second. Arkansas with Amber Anning on the anchor, A&M, with Jameisha Arnold. And for Tennessee, that is Jonah Ross. Well, this is going to come right down to the final straightaway. Uh-oh, a little bit of contact there. That's what happens when you're trying to pass on the turn. Wait to see if we see a flag on that.
Well, and you see how far on the outside of lane 1 Jameisha Arnold was running, and it made it appear like there was room to take that on the inside, but here she comes. She runs very even splits, really comes storming back in the last 200 of this 400 meters.
A&M wins it, followed by Arkansas, then Tennessee. And we'll have to wait to see if there is a protest of any kind. 50.41 on the anchor for Jameisha Arnold. 3:26.64. That is not as fast as they had run this season, but it doesn't matter. They crossed the line first, albeit there is a flag, and one must assume that there's going to be some type of an interference call. Let's look at that bump.
They were lucky not to lose the baton here with the contact that you saw. I mean, running right into each other. You could see the outside arm of Tennessee getting tangled up there with the inside arm of Texas A&M. Arnold able to recover incredibly well and be unshaken.
Well, and she was running on the outside of that lane 1, and sometimes when you do that, look, she's over halfway on the outside of that lane, and it just appears like somebody thinks, I've got an inside lane, I've got an inside alley, I can get through there, but it was not there.
Yeah, I think that there's a good chance that Texas A&M could be disqualified, which will make Arkansas the champion. Not that they needed the points, but we'll have to wait and see. If that happens, of course, there'll be a protest filed. They'll look at the video and determine if the contact was incidental or if there's something else. Right now, A&M the champion in the women's 4x400. We will be back to celebrate the teams when we return to Baton Rouge. Well, we don't have the exact numbers for you, but it's safe to say Arkansas clinched the men's team title. 3rd straight conference title for the men by a lot of points. And to celebrate, we go downstairs to John Anderson.
Thank you, Dwight Stones. Our thanks to the folks in Baton Rouge and LSU for a wonderful championship. The home team, LSU, getting everybody started with that collegiate record in the men's 4x1. But we are here for the team championship representing the Southeastern Conference. David Batson.
Thank you, John. It's my privilege to present the 2023 SEC Outdoor Championship Trophy to head coach Chris Buckman and the Arkansas Razorbacks.
Okay. A momentary delay in the proceedings here. You're going to need to find a bag of rice for somebody's phone right there. It's okay.
Sorry, John.
Understand your happiness is well founded. I don't know that you can control your kids like this, but that's fine. I don't want to hear this whole thing as a 3-day grind to come through, but in this case, it went easier than it has in the past. But tell me why this championship, this trophy is important to your university.
It's what we do. What we do at Arkansas. It started with Coach McDonald back in the day. Told me when I took over that, hey, these championships mean a lot. They were his favorite thing to win. Involves just everybody on our team, and just really, really proud to be able to take this back to the state of Arkansas.
And yet I sense that it feels like you collected this on the way to something else.
We got bigger fish to fry, but this was really important for us on the way to that national championship. We won the indoor NCAA championship, and our goal is to win the outdoor. It's going to be incredibly tough. We got to go through 4 rounds, but our kids, we got a really mature, pro-like group of guys, and they just work so hard. I'm really, really proud of them.
The other thing he always gave me is like, listen, I brought X guys and X score, 25 and 28. But there were a couple of guys here that I think is worth pointing out. Jaden Hibbert was amazing. And AOD, I'm not sure why he's wasting time on 10 events when he could just be super famous for running the 4x400. Your thoughts on those guys and their performances?
They're the glue of our team, and Aiden Owens is just, you saw him the last 100 meters of that 400 race. It was a race to the wire. He's not going to lose, and that's the way our team works. And just really, really proud of AD. I'm proud of Jaden, because he just a phenomenal competitor. Unbelievably talented, works really hard. Just happy for my coaches and my staff for all the work that they put in. And, we got a championship, and it's really, really good.
Does a 22nd SEC Outdoor Championship at all dull the pain of a Bruins first-round exit?
It certainly dulls the pain. This team is really special.
This team can go deep in the playoffs.
We're going to go deep in the playoffs.
Chris Bucknam, congratulations. WPS, fellas.
They scored the most points since they did in 2014, 149, 5 event titles, 4 of them field events. Back to celebrate the women when we come back to Baton Rouge.
Darlings, we're all experts at a few things in life. After all these years, I've become an expert at acting, producing, writing, and yes, great hair. But one thing I'm not an expert at, car repairs. That's why before your car breaks down, you need to call CarShield. When you call CarShield, their administrators can hook you up with plans that can cover the cost of major repairs on your car, including the transmission, engine, air conditioning, entertainment systems, and up to 6,000 other parts. So I don't need to be an expert to tell you that it never fails. When your car's out of warranty, it's going to break down at some point. And if you call CarShield before it does, you don't have to worry about paying those expensive bills. How about that? You also get an expert to fix your car because you get to choose the dealership or mechanic, and CarShield administrators take care of paying for them. That's a whole lot of expertise on your side, all for making one call to CarShield. But darlings, you got to make that call before your car breaks down.
I've been a CarShield customer for close to 7 years, had 3 vehicles covered, and they saved me close to $9,000.
When you call CarShield, you get their price lock guarantee, which means that the price you pay today will never change for as long as you cover your vehicle. What you'll also love is that plans through CarShield give you 24/7 coast-to-coast roadside assistance at no additional cost. Because darlings, CarShield is an expert at customer care too.
CarShield saved me $2,200.
In 1 year, I saved $2,500. That's amazing.
If it wasn't for CarShield, I wouldn't have my car.
CarShield has made me an expert at saving money on expensive car repairs. Trust me, you need to pick up that phone right now and call CarShield before your car breaks down.
Get protection now against expensive auto repair bills. Call CarShield for a free protection plan quote. Call 800-988-0786. 800-988-0786.
We are back here at the 2023 SEC Outdoor Track and Field Championships. I guess everybody can hear us now in Baton Rouge. Again, the home team, some splendid performances, Aaliyah Armstrong, Michaela Rose, but the team championship again goes to the Arkansas Razorbacks. David Baston has the trophy.
Yeah, it's my privilege to present the 2023 SEC Outdoor Track and Field Championship to head coach Lance Harder and the Arkansas Razorbacks.
Does the confetti ever get old?
No, not at all.
Nice round number. Number 10 for you outdoors. And you got the first one here. So what does 10 mean to you in the program?
Well, LSU has always been really nice to us. I mean, we did it with, in 2000, we only had 13 athletes. And now we have 30. And every one of them contributed. And that's what makes the true definition of a team. And we're super excited about the momentum we created this weekend to go to the regional meet and then obviously on to the national championships.
Your kids are good historians because Amber Anning told me this is the first one you won here at LSU as well, which is fantastic. It's amazing what you can do with 9 5,000-meter runners and 9 quarter-milers. How'd you piece this thing together?
It is a total, team commitment. I mean, we scored at every event that we entered, and it was a situation of great pride and just momentum with each other. The 10,000 meters kind of got it started and scored 21 points. And then the vaulters said, hey, we can't let that happen. Right. And so they scored 25. Then our quarter milers come back, and it was just a continuum of great rapport and the true spirit of being a Razorback.
And your steeplechasers thought, well, let's do a tumbling class on the last lap. They had that.
But they still got back up and scored. So it's a situation where, hey, I'm so proud of these guys. And one of the things they told me is that, hey, we're going to have a parade inside our city.
I know coaches always love to spread the wealth. But Britton Wilson stood out over the last couple of days. If you could, just your comments on her, how she's special.
No doubt about it. I mean, Britton sets 2 collegiate records, and the bond that she and Chris Johnson have, just the trust and the continue to just, the two of them just keep raising the bar, and not only in the collegiate level, but at the world level. And, we're so privileged to have her be somewhat of our guiding light, and then we have others like Akira and our vaulters, and it just, it just keeps going from event to event.
So this started in the fall. I saw you at the SEC. This is Lance Harder's last season, but we're getting closer, and there's really only one big meet. Where's our nostalgia meter right now?
Well, it's probably as high as I can get. I mean, it's so special, and the idea that my family's at home and super excited about what's going on, and the Razorback family in general has just been so nice and so supportive. And I think they labeled it as it's Harder's last lap. And so I'm just so honored that they, put this together to make my exit as special as possible.
All right, I'm going to wrap this up because the trophy looks getting really heavy for Akira Nugent. I don't want it to drop her on her foot before nationals. Congratulations on number 10. Congratulations to your Razorbacks, all the ladies here, and you get to do the WPS. Bring it on. Call them Hogs.
Arkansas women went 7 of the last 10 years of this outdoor title, and they did with 4 event titles: the 400, the 400 hurdles, the 10K, and the pole vault. Another outstanding performance by the Arkansas Razorbacks. They have just the regionals and the NCAA championships left to go. Another great SEC championships in the books, this time here from Baton Rouge and the campus of LSU. For John Anderson, Dan O'Brien, Laura Overton, Tom Lewis, and Rich Benoit, I'm Dwight Stones. Stay tuned. In a month, we'll be in Austin. So long, everybody.